invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Kind of gloomy, damp, and cool going through our Tuesday afternoon. Cloud showers. Still could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning, but that's very limited. Only 74 for the high. Tonight, cloud showers, a rumble. Everything fading well after midnight. 62 for the low, but the evening will be a little bit wet. Wednesday, clouds going to sunshine and 78, 82, and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
The department filed the motion to make public the warrant.
If this raid in Mar-a-Lago was meant to intimidate Donald Trump, they don't understand Donald Trump.
Stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community.
You can't fudge this. I don't think they're going to get away with this because they have to produce a whale of a piece of evidence on Donald Trump in order to justify this. And I don't think they have it.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
We've all done it or used to do it. Use the same passwords at work as we have for online shopping, Netflix, news sites, etc. But here's the problem. Those sites are often compromised, and those stored credentials are exposed, shared, and sold on the dark web. My hope is your users are not using the same work passwords for those sites as they use for work. But in reality, some of them are, because let's face it, remembering one password is a lot easier than remembering all of them. Hackers then use those passwords, guess the login, and voila, you get ransomware. This is how bad actors get into networks. Not by hacking their way through your firewall, but by buying usernames and passwords off the dark web. One of our favorite parlor tricks is telling someone their super secret password during a meeting. It looks like magic, but actually it's been exposed in some obscure website breach. The good news is, Acropolis is here and we can help. I know IT isn't how most of you want to spend your day, but from one business owner to another, you need to feel comfortable that these areas are protected and in place now more than ever. If you aren't satisfied with what you find, we can help. Visit us on the web at acropolistech.com and let's start a conversation.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
The following is a commercial announcement.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
I'm Eric Robert with Stifel. The economy is always changing, but what does it mean for your investments? Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind with the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love to
this American ride. All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
She's done us dirty.
How so?
Oh, God. Look at how she's done Trump. I'm a Trump fan. I'm sorry.
So she lost your vote because of her role on the January 6th committee and what she's doing about Trump?
Yes. She's supposed to be supporting him. She's a Republican, for crying out loud.
I find her work on the January 6th committee just repulsive.
How do you feel about her work on the January 6th committee and her role?
It's all a hoax. It's all propaganda. Has nothing to do with anything. It's a witch hunt.
Well, she says she's defending what's important to people here in Wyoming, upholding the rule of law, defending the Constitution.
If that was the rule of law, why doesn't he have a defense team in that courtroom? That ain't the rule of law. That's a kangaroo court. That's not the Wyoming way.
That's not the Wyoming way. Well, the Wyoming voters are going to have the opportunity to cast a ballot today and to figure out whether or not Liz Cheney's still going to be able to represent them in Congress. That was a CNN interview from the beginning of August. And they're going around trying to find different people from Wyoming to talk to. And Liz Cheney, not very popular.
She has been an embarrassment. It's a witch hunt.
Are you proud of her for taking on Donald Trump?
No.
Here in Cheyenne, more than 1,600 miles from Washington, D.C., almost everyone we spoke with told us they believe Liz Cheney is too focused on Donald Trump and the January 6th committee and not paying enough attention to what they believe matters to the people here in Wyoming.
So, with the Liz Cheney, Donald Trump, this is probably as close as those two are ever going to get facing off against one another. I guess there's a possibility that if there were a Republican primary in 2024, which obviously there will be, maybe, Brad, we could see this and an actual on the ballot Donald Trump, Liz Cheney.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting to me about this is the state that she lives in. That's a terrible battlefield to fight this battle on. She's basically in Trump country, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to take him on, and I'm going to show him. She might have more luck if she were in a state like Maryland, Pennsylvania, something like that, but good grief. But we could see her on a ballot.
Very good question, though. Is Liz Cheney's job to fight that battle if it doesn't represent her constituents?
Well, I think her job title is Representative Liz Cheney.
What do you mean by that?
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Representative, but in that line, that title, it says representative. It does say R, which is the indicator she's representing Republicans, but it also says of the district of Wyoming. Isn't Wyoming one district?
That I'm not familiar with.
So if you are somebody who is in the state of Wyoming and you get to cast your vote today and you get to cast it for or likely against Liz Cheney, you're asking yourself, does she represent me? What if the 435 people in the House of Representatives all went there to represent what was best for the people in their district? I wonder if less would get done or more. Maybe less. Maybe that's not a bad thing.
I would agree with that 100%. I don't think sending somebody into government to do, quote unquote, do something is good. Only do things if it's effective, if it's helpful. Otherwise, stay out of it. I sent a tweet out this morning and I was just like, I don't know that government has any solutions, at least the federal government, any solutions that don't involve spending money. Because every time you look at anything that we're going to fix inflation by spending more money, we're going to fix this. Basically, we're going to assign billions of dollars to this. I think a less or slower working government is a better thing than people give it credit for. I think the slowness of government is by design. It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, I'm. If you're a voter in the state of Wyoming, The law stipulates parties can conduct open primaries for congressional seats, also state level offices, and a voter has to be affiliated with a political party in order to vote in the primary election, but any voter, regardless of previous partisan affiliation, can change his or her affiliation on the day of the primary. Is there a strong, significant amount of Democrats in Wyoming that would want to invest in keeping Liz Cheney on the ballot?
I think there's a strong coalition of Democrats that would want to keep Harriet Hagman, did I say that right? Hagman, off of the ballot. I think that they like what Liz Cheney's doing only to be a thorn in Trump's side. But I think, once Trump is no longer in the picture, they're going to remember how conservative Liz Cheney actually is.
Wyoming has 581,348 people in it. Total.
Okay.
581,000, just a hair over. St. Louis, for comparison, has 304,709. So St. Louis is 60%. St. Louis, just hear us, is 60% of the entire state of Wyoming, which is a congressional district, but also bordered by the state boundaries. So Liz Cheney is representing everybody in Wyoming. She represents 501,000 people or 581,000 people, I should say. I am interested to see how this shakes out. I also wonder how, if you were a Democrat in Wyoming and you wanted to put Liz Cheney on the ballot, would that make it easier to beat in the general? Would more people would Liz Cheney being the Republican candidate? First of all, let me just say, I don't think she's going to win tonight.
Right.
But I'm saying, if you were a Democrat in Washington or in Wyoming, excuse me, and you can, on the day of the primary, pull a Republican or a Democrat ballot for the primary, I could see how pulling a Republican ballot and voting for Liz Cheney and having her win the nomination would make it easier for the Democrat who's running to beat her in the general. Just thinking.
I mean, I can't think of a better way of deflating, Republican enthusiasm
nationwide
to vote for somebody like Liz Cheney in that state.
If Liz Cheney won in Wyoming, it would affect the Republican Party on a greater scale nationwide than it would in Wyoming. Because the other thing that doesn't ever get talked about, because this is what Liz Cheney has done to her legacy. Her legacy is 100% completely and totally adhered to Donald Trump. She voted for Donald Trump stuff all the time. She couldn't vote from a voting record. She's very conservative.
90+%.
Yeah. She's somebody who is a conservative. And if we're talking on policy base, she's a very conservative Republican. So if you send her, this is going back to the original question. If you send Liz Cheney back to Congress, is she going to represent in a Republican majority? Is she going to help push the ball forward for Republican and conservative values? She actually is. Unless she prioritizes her own vendetta and mission and focus and goal. If she prioritizes what she wants over what the people of Wyoming who sent her to be in Congress want. And, anecdotally speaking, from a package put together by CNN. So I'd imagine if CNN could have made Liz Cheney look good walking around talking to people, they'd have done it. Like, that's where you're going to go to get people go, Liz Cheney is the fighter this country needs. If CNN could have made that happen, they would have mustered up the people, like mustard, like past tense, not like mustard. I'm thinking around the yellow mustard. I'm an idiot. They would have been able to come up with the individuals to make Liz Cheney look like the Republican Party that Nancy Pelosi always says that she wishes would be back in place. Shut up. Ugh. Nancy Pelosi, the Republicans of the old days. Well, you would know about the old days, old lady. You were there. I wasn't. The Republican Party is what it is today because the Republican Party of old was the way they were. We have gotten to this point. And I would say this too. Democrats, you made Donald Trump. You gave the Republican Party Donald Trump. And you ran Hillary and made people all across the country go, no, not her. I'm not with her. And now we have Donald Trump, and now he's at the epicenter of every political conversation that ever happens. I just said to Brad before the show starts, I am so tired and annoyed with this news. Every day, Brad, you go through and you look for sound to pull for the show. We play the sound, and it's just the same stuff because we don't have any answers. And the fact that we have the same questions every day, followed by the same lack of answers every day, makes that story important when the FBI is going to storm into Donald Trump's private residence. I read today that he had a vacation planned, and that the fact that he didn't have his passports like almost upset his vacation plans. I know that makes lots of people really sad for him. He couldn't go on vacation. But the whole, like, every detail that develops with this story leads to more questions and leads to more people going, I don't think this is what you needed to do to get the information that you believed you had a right to get. And every day that goes by and people don't have the smoking gun that says that's why they went into Mar-a-Lago. Does Donald Trump grow bigger and stronger? Isn't it Hydra where you cut off a head and like 3 grow back?
2 grow back in its place.
Not 2. Inflation.
Yeah, you need a Hercules
3 now.
to burn it so that it seals it off and they can't grow back. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want Donald Trump to be Hydra. No. Not really the right angle, at least I think mythologically speaking. The YouTube live chat poll today has to do with all of this. And I really want to know what you think about this and the direction this is heading. Because as I said to Brad, and Brad kind of confirmed back, the story is getting old and stale because we're not getting any answers. And if I don't want to come onto the show every day and be like, can you believe what the FBI did at Mar-a-Lago? Oh my gosh, shock and awe and rage. Ugh, I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. It's exhausting. Will the Trump FBI raid backfire on Democrats? That is the YouTube live chat poll today. If you type in on YouTube, if you just type in Annie Frey, F-R-E-Y, Annie Frey, live stream or whatever it is, you'll see we're live right now. Hello to the people watching. And then you can vote in the live chat section on what you think. Will the Trump FBI raid backfire on Democrats? You have 3 options to choose from. Yes, Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty. Or no, nothing bad happens to the Democrats. I'm not 100%. I think there are going to be 2 that are neck and neck.
I think so.
I think it's also true that you could have, yes, Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty, and no, nothing bad happens to them all at the same time. So you got to pick one. The president's going to sign his Inflation Reduction Act into law today. We're just lamenting over whether or not we want to play that for you. I can imagine how riveting that would sound on the radio. We're going to watch and see when he signs it. If he does take questions and probably bring the questions and answers to you. If I were advising President Biden, I would tell him not to take questions. I would say, no, don't do that. Shuffle out of the room as fast and safely as you possibly can with they got arrows taped on the floor for him to, it's got like a Pac-Man path, just full of only right angles.
People standing, waving him the hall along the way.
Yes. Easter Bunny lurking behind. So we'll pay attention to that. It's supposed to happen at 1:30. But at 1:25, speaking of the Inflation Reduction Act, instead of bringing you President Biden and whatever he's going to say about how this doesn't reduce inflation, we're going to talk to Steve Moore about that and get the latest from him on the increase of agents at the IRS, what average Americans can expect from what we know to be pistol-packing IRS agents. Isn't it ironic that the same political party that has power at all levels of federal government, the same political party that just said we will reduce inflation by passing this bill, we will increase the IRS by 87,000 agents that are carrying weapons. Oh, and also we would like to implement gun control and take your guns away. No, just flat out. N-O, no. We're going to take a quick break. Jim Carafano with us at 105, Stephen Moore at 125, Wiggins America at 1245, and more discussion here. I'm going to ask Brad to answer that poll question when we come back, and I'll tell you what I think as well. You get on there and answer it on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. And if you'd like to leave a comment, Hannah reads a few of those at the end of the show. You can potentially be highlighted. by commenting right now. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
Well, maybe I'm just The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. By the sound of it, pieces of note fall down, but the letter said, it's good living with you. More people are landing on 97.1 FM Talk every day.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective.
That's the only station I listen to.
97.1 FM Talk, the place for ideas.
So if you've been thinking about building on the Illinois side, I want you to consider checking out cajonesinc.com. That's cajonesinc.com. Like I've mentioned before, if it's hard to remember, just remember it's cajones.com or inc.com. Excuse me. Don't go to cajones.com. I don't know what you're going to see. cajonesinc.com. It may be different. They are the energy efficient home builder in the Illinois side of the river. They are committed to making sure that the home that you're building with them, that it's going to have all the trimmings, all the placements, the layout that you want. And they have very many options available on their website at cajonesinc.com for you to pick from. They are committed to making sure that your house is a home that you are going to just love that first time you walk into that home and the 100 millionth time that you walk into that home. And they work very, very hard to give back to the communities that they are helping to expand in Illinois. The Illinois Center for Autism, they give a portion of every home sold. They give a donation to that charity. If you want to learn more about my friends at CA Jones, visit them online at cajonesinc.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-6000 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-6000.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
There's a big red barn where you say free. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Attention veterans. If you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable, but you must act now. Get your free case review. Call True Law at 877-560-8555, 877-560-8555, or visit sickvets.com. That's sickvets.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
SherryChili.com.
crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you. But then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from your eye. I don't know why. I run away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I run away. You could have asked me why I broke
But
your
now we
heart.
can confirm that the First Lady has tested positive for COVID.
Understandable, since her husband had COVID, obviously a close contact. It's a highly contagious variant. She is going to remain in South Carolina at a private residence. She will return to Washington after she has 2 consecutive negative tests.
2 consecutive negative tests, and then she can come back to Washington. What happens when she has positive tests the next day after that? Because has President Biden tested negative yet? I don't even know if he's out of the woods.
I think he did test negative eventually, but man.
I was just thinking just yesterday that at least here at work, we are functioning like normal human beings again. And that is a very, very good, welcome thing. There was definitely a time where I asked myself, I think most people were asking themselves, are we ever going to go back to normal? And there was like, oh, you're going to go back to the new normal. And well, screw that. Like that's no. Again, and no. But when you go to a Cardinals game, we went to the Friday night game last weekend. It was a great game. We won. It was exciting to watch. Goldschmidt, Arenado both hit home runs. And I was sitting there and all of a sudden I realized, whoa, there's 45,000 people just sitting here watching a baseball game, not thinking about COVID. Thank God. We're back. And it's heartwarming to know that I've done multiple things like that and not thought about COVID. I still get, I don't know like what kind of COVID hangovers you might have, Brad, but I despised wearing masks in Walmart or wherever it might be that I was going in. And for the duration of, in Illinois, mask required was so much longer than Missouri and so many other places. I don't know if, I feel like Hawaii lowered their mask requirements before we did. And I'm like, what the heck? Hawaii, I'm going there. Make it so. But I still have this apprehension when I'm walking into the store, like, am I going to put the mask on? Am I not going to put the mask on? And I didn't wear the mask very much to begin with. Who was it? Ryan was telling the story about meeting some people and they would go into the store and they'd be like, are we going to Annie Fry it? Which is to go in and say, I'm not going to put my mask on. I have my mask in my pocket. If somebody asks me to put it on, I will respectfully oblige and not make a scene about it. But you have to ask me to put it on. I'm not going to do that. And there was the moment, I don't know, in Illinois, it would have been at least a year, right? Where you just had to wear a mask inside.
Yeah, at the very least.
I mean, it started in March 2020. It wasn't until spring of 2021 where they took masks off kids in schools.
Yeah.
And they didn't even do that. They had to lose in court and be challenged by, if people wouldn't have stood up, if so many of those people were right here on the Metro East side of the river who joined a challenge of parents across the state who said, knock it off. If they wouldn't have challenged it, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we were starting school this year with masks on our kids. But if you're like me and you hated wearing the masks in our household, it really just turned into my husband being the one who would just go in the store. I just wouldn't go in the store. He would make the trip in because I certainly wasn't going to put masks on all my kids to go into Walmart or Target or wherever it was that we were shopping, a grocery store. I just wasn't doing it. So we would, instead of us all going in the store together, I'd sit in the car with the kids and he'd go in and, you know, he kind of made his own personal choices too, as to whether or not he'd put the mask on. I don't know when he stopped, just altogether stopped doing it. But I still, if I'm running into Target or something, I still kind of get that moment each time where I'm like, oh, I don't have to wear a mask. Still, I don't know if other people experience that, but it took so long, and I hated it so much when it was existing.
Oh my gosh.
And as I've said on here before, I was the type of person, I was kind of a pioneer in my area where I would just choose to put the mask in my pocket instead of on my face and wait to be asked, and like hardly ever got asked, and would visibly see people take their masks off their face when they saw me.
Yeah. I would do that too. I just throw it in my pocket, and it's like, I'm not going to make a scene.
Yeah.
But you're going to request it of me.
Yeah.
I don't have that feeling, like, because, that was kind of my attitude, was I don't want to put a mask on. And then I walk in, I never had that apprehension about wearing a mask whenever I walk in. I was just going to let somebody else make that decision for me. But the thing that gets me, the little hangover thing that I still have is like, whenever I hear somebody cough.
Oh.
And it's not like, because
why do you want everybody to die?
It was just in the background, it was just background noise before COVID. And now after COVID, that's the only thing that makes me go, huh?
It's the worst when you swallow wrong.
Oh,
and
I
you're
know.
like, huh, and you gotta tell everybody, I just swallowed wrong. It's just a spit in my throat. It's just spraying my germs all over everywhere. But they're not. They're regular germs. They're not COVID germs.
They're not even germs. They're healthy. So good.
You're living a life now where people understand that COVID exists. And this is the peak of the mountain that we have been climbing. You now expect other people in your life to know that if they have COVID symptoms, they should just stay home and not be coming into your place of work, into church, to the party, to school. We are now back to trusting our fellow man. And yes, I'm saying man, I'm not even changing it. Our fellow man with making responsible decisions for themselves that don't have to be made for them. And folks, it still works. I just almost swallowed spit wrong again. That would have been right on time. You're not going into places. I would assume some medical facilities might still have this in place. And I understand that to whatever extent, that if you're a medical facility that is maybe working with people who could potentially be immunocompromised or whatever, that you don't want to be bringing the general public in anyway. But if you're living your life and you want to go out to eat and you want to go buy groceries or you want to go to the movies or whatever it is, I mean, you can literally buy a ticket to go sit in a movie theater where you're sitting on one half of a love seat with a stranger now. Yeah, you can do that.
I don't like to go to movies alone, so I'll do that. I'll just buy.
You don't have to go alone. You just don't know who your love seat.
Yeah, I just find I find the one love seat that already has somebody that buys in it, and I'll buy the other one.
That's weird. I think that my experience in this has been that we have been back to normal for so long right now that since it feels so normal, we don't remember how weird it was when we were under these COVID mitigations. And to go back and think about it, it almost feels kind of like a flash in time. It feels like it went by so fast. But at the same time, recollect when we were going through this, wondering if we would ever get back to this moment. And I am here. This should be our diamond in the rough for this week. We're back, baby. We've arrived. We're here, and this is fantastic. And it feels so normal that sometimes we forget that it's normal again.
Yeah, there's a couple accounts on Twitter that always refresh it. Like this past weekend, I came across the accounts. Like, remember when we did this to high school bands and middle school bands, and like they had those individualized green tents that the kids would have to go in, and like there was one where it was a kid trying to play I think it's officially called the sousaphone, but the tuba, and he's like all like mashed down in there. And then they had a couple girls that were playing flutes with the mask cut out, but they had masks on.
So stupid. I mean, it's innovatively stupid. It's not your run-of-the-mill ignorant dumb. It's like masterclass dumb. You came up with new ways to be dumb.
It always struck me of like how middle schoolers try to skirt the rules. Like, well, technically I'm in compliance because I have a mask on, but it's like cut out in the middle.
And that's exactly the right way to say it. In compliance. Frank says on YouTube, when you see a mask on someone today, they are pretty much just telling you who they voted for. Frank, I'm going to challenge you on that. When I see somebody with a mask on right now, I think that they're on day 6 of COVID. I just assume, I'm like, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. But they're out and about living their lives. You know, I know plenty of people who have had COVID over the course of time. Everybody does. And the CDC had said as of recently that from symptoms, you were supposed to from the time that you've had symptoms and tested positive, you're supposed to isolate for 5 days. And then after that, you can go back into the wild, just wear a mask for the next 5 days. And after 10 days, you should be good. So I just assume that those people are ones who they're kind of on the bubble. They're probably still contagious, but they probably have to lick you in order for you to get it. And you know how people are. So they wear a mask on to keep them from being tempted to lick other people in the grocery.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's super gross. Do you judge people when you see them wearing masks? Because I think that might be a little bit of a hangover thing too.
The only people that I judge are the people that are by themselves in
their
a car
driving.
That's the only ones. I was like, what are you doing?
I want people to be nice to one another. I want to advocate for kindness, but I struggle with that one too.
Yeah, there's that one.
I'm like, God.
The other one is the people that have the mask on, but just around their chin. And that's all they do. They just have a mask on around their chin.
Do you know these people personally, or are you passing them?
I'm passing them, walking through a store, see somebody like that, and I'm just like, on or off, pick a lane.
Still?
Yes.
If you know somebody who has a family member who is immunocompromised, there's a different level for that. And if I see somebody in the store who has a mask on, they might be on day 6 of COVID. They might be taking care of a loved one at home who is cancer, and they might be their caregiver, and they know that if they bring something, so I would do if I were taking care of a family member who was elderly or sick or compromised for whatever reason, I would want to do anything and everything to make sure that I didn't eliminate my ability to care for those people, or even worse, potentially get something and spread it. So I could see how, like, during a cold season, you would just do that anyway. But why would you put it around your chin?
That's the one I don't understand.
And from what I understand, and it's gone back and forth so many times, that the mask thing is it to keep you from spreading things? Is it to keep you from inhaling things? Like, I got to think that if you're wearing a mask, you're going to take in less germs than if you weren't wearing a mask. But if you're doing it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to not spread germs or trying not to inhale germs and you're in your car by yourself, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
So, I don't know. I'd like to know what your other COVID hangover things are. Like, what kind of stuff are you still realizing? Oh, I remember that happened, but you're not still feeling the effects of it. It's not like you're still feeling the buzz of the COVID mandates that have been all over the place. Give us some comments on the live chat, and maybe we'll highlight some of those later in the show. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, when we come back, he's going to talk about the perceptions of Midwesterners. I mean, we are the awesomest people because we're so nice.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I'll just scooch right by you here.
Yeah, I don't. That's northern. That's like Rob Kramer. I almost said Rob Wiggins. That would be a development. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America in studio in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. The Mark Reardon Show.
Jeremiah Poff with the Washington Examiner.
You're dealing with racialized concepts being pushed into math curriculum. Really, this is about attaining equal outcomes instead of equal opportunity.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside Renovation and Design.com. You can visit their website to get a little design inspiration if that is something you're looking for. You know, I think a lot of people start the process. It's a long process a lot of times mentally to commit to. Gosh, I just can't stand my kitchen. I don't like the way it's laid out. I can't do what I want to do. I love spending time in the kitchen. I just hate spending time in my kitchen. What happens next? A lot of people might know exactly what they want, but most people, you're watching the TV shows, you're thinking about the things that they're doing on the television and how that could translate to your home. Well, get the conversation moving to the next level with Lakeside Renovation and Design. They are the experts. The design part is super important because they can take ideas that you have and make them a reality in your home. And in St. Louis, there is no better destination for your interior remodel or your exterior remodel than Lakeside Renovation and Design. 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. You can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
Is your roof full of ugly algae black stains? Just one roof restore treatment from Frederick Roofing, and you've got a clean, beautiful-looking roof for a small investment. If it has anything to do with roofing, you need to call Frederick Roofing at 645-2000. 645-2000.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
What is it that's made Frederick Roofing the #1 choice for more than 80,000 St. Louis roofing customers? Is it Frederick's passion for customer satisfaction? Is it Frederick's own expert, licensed, and insured crews? Is it Frederick's ability to always provide an immaculate cleanup when the job is complete? It's all of those things and more. Frederick Roofing, the smart call to make for your commercial and or residential roof.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you haven't tried out Zero Res or it's been months since your last deep clean, then now is the time to call. Get your entire home Zero Resified from St. Louis's best carpet cleaner and get the KFTK Mark Reardon special. 20% off all cleaning services. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy that you're here with us. Appreciate you spending some time with 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, if you're on your lunch break right now and you don't have a radio back at work, that the Odyssey app streams 97.1 FM Talk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can even rewind and start the show from noon if you so choose. We love having listeners there, and you can subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcasts. Right now, though, it's time
All right, well, here's the deal. I stumbled across, in fact, I stumbled into sound.
Shut up. he just played that before. That's for our X's and O's game. And I said I should play that before every time I play sound on this show.
And that's what I'm going to do.
You've stumbled into sound.
You have stumbled into sound. I stumbled across a viral video of a woman who moved from California to the Midwest. And she's just talking to the camera and sharing her experience of now being in the Midwest. And she's doing the California complain thing, but all the things she's saying are generally positive about the Midwest. And I think that's kind of why it went viral, because you're going, well, what are you complaining about? So I pulled from this viral video a few different clips that I want to run past the room as all Midwesterners and get some kind of opinions, maybe some theories as to why we are this way, whether you agree with her assessment or not. So here's the first one. It's
So
just
we're
about,
defending Midwesterners here?
in a sense.
But maybe.
But with...
Maybe
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
like, yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling that we're going to agree with a lot of the assessments, but as to why we are this way, she has some theories, and I'll share those and we can talk about it. But so the first one is just her assessment of Midwesterners.
Which kind of brings me to the whole concept of like Midwesterners are super friendly. They are. Like everyone is just so chatty and like relatively nice and seems to be in a generally good mood. And I think that a lot of people were like, oh, that's the culture of the Midwest. But I feel like something enables that culture.
So that's the first clip. So she sounds like she's complaining about it.
Humanity?
Something like that. But do you agree with the fact that we are more friendly? And do you think anybody's more friendly than we are? Or are we set the bar for the country?
Well, it's interesting because it's about perspective. I think that the Midwest is probably one of the friendliest places in the country. I think Southerners are incredibly hospitable, but they'll also tell you to bless your heart, which is the same as an expletive that the FCC won't say to me that you get when you're walking down the streets of New York City. So
I would agree with that.
I almost think that Midwesterners are probably the nicest and the Southerners are the most hospitable, with the sass that I am envious of and their ability to deliver it in a way that makes you go, what just happened?
I think that's an interesting assessment, that they are a little bit more where they won't say anything really negative to you, but they will wear their opinions on their sleeve more than we will.
I don't think Southerners are trying to please people. I think Midwesterners are eager to please.
Agreed.
And Southerners are like, you will be in my home and feel welcome.
Yeah. And you will eat the food and you will like it.
Yes.
And if you don't, I will be offended. You will not be invited back. However, I still love you.
If you don't, and if you don't like the Southern way of doing things, they're not going to modify their ways.
Yes.
It's like, if you don't get the Southern thing, sucks to be you.
I want to add something to the whole Midwesterners are friendly thing. It's different in suburbs and rural versus city. Yesterday, I went to a gas station downtown St. Louis. It was some of the rudest people I've ever had serve me. And I was thinking about this at the time because I had just seen it. I thought, well, wait a minute now. Now, these people weren't friendly at all. However, most places I go are. So I think it does have something to do with whether you're in the middle of a city versus not in the middle of a city. So let me play the second one here. This is kind of her getting to why she thinks this is happening.
And that's because like the population is so low, but the size of the stores are like the same or bigger.
So that's the crux of her entire theory right there in 7 seconds, that it's because of population density, essentially. And I don't know whether I agree with that or not. However, what I just said about the cities kind of alludes to that.
No, I agree with that. I've been in New York City, and you can't move anywhere without there being people all over the place, which is why I was there for like 3.5 days, and I was like, I would like to go home now. I literally missed power lines.
Yeah, I would agree too, because on our honeymoon, we went to Hawaii, and when we were in Honolulu, people were on top of you, and I get cranky. I get cranky in a crowded like area, let alone like walking around the catwalks on Busch Stadium with people there. It's like, get out of the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, that she might be onto something there.
Okay. So here's her explanation as to the whole population density thing.
When you go get your driver's license here, the place where you go is like the same size as it is in California, because this facility is serving like 1/100th of the amount of people that the one in California is. There's no line. You don't have to schedule an appointment. You just like walk in. It's crazy. And then because the people aren't like overworked, they're not like serving 600 people that just stood in line for 6 hours to get their driver's license picture taken. Workers are in a better mood, understandably.
Man, talk about government institutions that are crappy when they're not run well.
But the thing is about that hypothesis, because I think there is something to the population density thing, just like you guys were talking about.
I would say so.
If you're crowded and you again, you got to wait in lines and stuff, and it's annoying, and you don't want to be nice to people because you view people more as an obstacle than you do as people because they're all around you, right? Whereas if you're driving down a rural road, somebody you see going past, you're like, oh my gosh, that's another person. They're going to wave at you because you must be in my territory. I don't ever see you. I don't even know who you are. Hi.
Everybody waves.
Exactly. So the thing is, though, when she's using this example of the driver's license, the DMV, she loses me a little bit because what should be done with government is by population, you should have that many facilities. And apparently, the government doesn't do that. It puts the same amount of DMVs, for instance, in a low population area or generally in the Midwest as you would. You should have them every 100 yards in LA, but they don't do that. So I think that's part of the reason why there's problems is that it's not just population density. It's that they don't manage their population very well because you could. And I think there are places that do, but most big cities are not doing that. And part of the reason is because they're mismanaged. They don't have the money that they should for that infrastructure. They're not using their money well.
I think it's interesting too to add in the factor that a lot of people who are suburban, I don't know what the percentage is because this is very subjective on my part, but I live in a suburban area, a nice suburban area in the Metro East. It's not ritzy and fancy, but it's very nice. And I want to move to the country where there are even less people. And I think that the suburbanites, especially, the area that I'm in is being built up. Like they just feel like they got to make it bigger and bigger and taller and more, like more. And a lot of that urban sprawl that they talk about where they don't want people to have to get in a car and drive anywhere to get they want you to be able to walk to be able to get all of your needs. That is an opinion on a way to live that isn't the right opinion. It is an opinion. And you can offer that. And the more that infiltrates suburban areas, which are the opposite, not the opposite but a little bit more spread out than urban areas, that even ends up having people going, I would like some more elbow room and less people.
Yeah. Are you though wanting to move based just because you want more space and more serenity? Or is there any politics involved in it?
What do you mean?
Are you wanting to move to an area that's a little bit less congested because you think there's a lifestyle change? Maybe not politics isn't the right word, but just that it's a lifestyle difference rather than just.
It's a huge lifestyle difference to go live out in the country. I mean, I am a Second Amendment supporter in the suburban area that I would live in, and it would be the same in the country area, except for in the country area, I would do my target shooting in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have to share fences with angry neighbors potentially, or, worry about a situation where all of a sudden somebody puts like a big light in their yard and where you had some darkness here, now you've got a light shining in your bedroom window. So like those types of things, when you live out on your own, you just control your own space.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you live in a suburban area, those things happen. That's part of it.
But there's a little bit of ideology in there where I want to control my own space. And there's ideology definitely in the migration of people who are like-minded, move to bigger cities. They want to be with people who are more left-leaning. And I think it's hard to divorce politics from some of this stuff because like I was alluding to, when you get a whole bunch of like-minded people in the same area voting for the same types of people, they're going to manage things differently than we would out in the suburbs or in rural America.
What I'm talking about is not about politics and voting at all. That's way different than lifestyle, in my opinion.
But there is ideology in it. I mean, you were talking about just wanting to be in control of your own space more. And in the suburbs, there are more restrictions on that. And even the more urban you get, the more restrictions there are on that.
But the restrictions don't have to be based on politics. There's just more people. Of course, there are more restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't want to allude to being like moving to the country is because I'm like a Republican. That's not what I'm saying.
Moving to the country.
Gonna eat a lot of peaches. Yeah. We stumbled into sound.
We have in fact stumbled into sound.
Jim Carafano on the Andy Frey Show. When we come back, we're going to talk about the year anniversary of the disastrous Afghanistan pullout. And then we're going to talk to Steve Moore about that Inflation Reduction Act that doesn't reduce inflation. More Andy Frey Show in a minute. Don't go away.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
This is Wiggins. I know this time of year at Fountains Family Dentistry, everybody's trying to get in last minute, get in before school starts, and get your family all taken care of. I don't know if that's necessarily for school or if it's part of the checklist of this time of year. You want to get that stuff done, get your physicals done. Well, the nice thing is that we always, at least as a family, schedule our appointments out a couple months so that we can all go at the same time and knock everybody out. So you can do that right now. If you're trying to get in before school, I don't know if you could do that. It's almost like you had to do that yesterday. But at Fountains Family Dentistry, they're going to work with you to make sure that you can do that and make it as convenient as possible to get your teeth cleanings, especially if you have kids, especially if you have multiple kids, you're trying to knock that out all at once. They will work with you because they are open late some days. They are open early some days. And your kids will love going there. Mine, they hem and haw about going to the doctor sometimes, but for some reason, the dentist, it's probably because everybody's so friendly. They are willing to go to the dentist at the drop of a hat. So FountainsFamilyDentistry.com is where you can go to make your appointments in Fairview Heights, Illinois. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Hi, this is Tracy again, and I don't know about you, but in many ways, the pandemic has acted like a microwave oven in my world, accelerating work trends that would have taken years to adopt. Remote work is one of those trends, and it's here to stay. If you thought securing your network was hard before, it's even harder now, and here's why. In the olden days, a few short years ago, your staff was behind a firewall securing access to data. Today, that staff is now working somewhere else, and your firewall no longer protects them. You have a VPN, you say? Great. They or their family surf the web outside the VPN. When they do connect the next morning, they potentially expose the corporate network to whatever they clicked on when they weren't connected. At Acropolis, Helios Web Security is our answer for the managed clients that need it. Our tools run on your users' devices and act as a proxy, checking every website against known bad ones and blocks them. It is one more layer helping protect your company from accidental exposure to bad actors. Security starts with a conversation. Let's start that conversation today by visiting us on the web at acropolistech.com. That's acropolistech.com. Protect, optimize, grow. We are Acropolis Technology Group.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A renewed focus on search warrant details. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Former President Trump taking to a social media site to demand the release of affidavits used to persuade a court to approve last week's search of his Florida home.
The Department of Justice, on the other hand, says they oppose unsealing that affidavit. They say that doing so could jeopardize the safety of witnesses and could also compromise an ongoing criminal investigation.
Fox's Steve Harrigan outside the former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. A judge has scheduled a hearing on the matter Thursday in Florida. Primary voting is underway in Wyoming and Alaska. In Wyoming, Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney faces Trump-backed challenger Harriet Hageman. In Alaska, GOP Senator Lisa Murkowski also under fire from the former president for voting to convict him in his second impeachment trial. In addition, former Alaska governor and 2008 vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin hopes to fill the remainder of a House term left vacant with the death of Congressman Don Young. The Food and Drug Administration is finalizing a rule that will allow many Americans to access over-the-counter hearing aids. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra.
For many Americans who suffer from hearing loss, safe and effective and high-quality hearing aids have been unaffordable.
FDA officials say some hearing aids will be offered in-store or online without prescriptions or fittings. The option could be available to some Americans as early as mid-October. First Lady Jill Biden will remain in isolation in South Carolina, where she's been vacationing with the president after testing positive for COVID-19 this morning. The White House says the First Lady is fully vaccinated and has gotten 2 boosters and currently experiencing mild symptoms. President Biden tested negative this morning and is set this afternoon to sign into law a bill Democrats say will reduce inflation. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Kind of gloomy, damp, and cool going through our Tuesday afternoon. Cloud showers. Still could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning, but that's very limited. Only 74 for the high. Tonight, cloud showers, a rumble, everything fading well after midnight. 62 for the low, but the evening will be a little bit wet. Wednesday, clouds going to sunshine and 78, 82, and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're connected to news and thought-provoking opinion that's censored everywhere else, but not here.
According to the eligibility requirements, minors as young as 15, so boys, can receive breast augmentation, or girls can receive double mastectomies. I don't even want to get into some of the details of what they're doing up there. But this is sick.
Unfiltered and unafraid. 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? Maybe you've tried all kinds of remedies with no relief.
It was terrible. I was in tears a lot. It hurt that bad. For 2 years, I was watching these commercials thinking, this can't be real. You know, you're never going to find out if you don't try. So my legs and my feet do not hurt like they did before Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the move.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We saw more than 500 people cross in a single 1 hour span. That includes this group you're looking at of 300 people. Again, predominantly single adults. They're coming in from all around the world, Central and South America, some from Asia, some from Africa. You'll see many of them dressed very well, waiting with their smartphones for Border Patrol to process them. And then you'll see some of them even walked out to a nearby highway, almost getting on the road before Texas DPS troopers stopped them. Then take a look at this third piece of video. 2 more groups we saw yesterday, totaling more than 200 migrants. Again, almost all of them single adults. We are no longer seeing those mass family units like we saw last summer.
Yeah, who's covering this story other than Fox News? Because the only attention that seems to be drawn to the crisis at the southern border is the fact that we're busing these people. Governor Abbott of Texas is busing these migrants, illegal immigrants, to New York City, and Eric Adams is putting them up in nice hotels. That's and talking about how New York City is going to treat them with the kindness and respect that they deserve. How about we stop the problem at the southern border? I wonder what Jim Carafano thinks about it. He's here with us, the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation, and he's been banging this drum for quite some time. And Jim, as long as we've been talking about the border crisis, it's only gotten worse, it seems.
On the anniversary of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, when we warned that, in all likelihood, terrorists, including Al-Qaeda and the Haqqani network, would come rolling back into Afghanistan, and that their top priority would be revenge for the U.S. Counterattack after 9/11. And then we hear that our border is so wide open it doesn't even make news anymore. And we see reports every day, which aren't just kind of one-off reporting. It's actually reporting of official government data that they are detaining people on the terrorist watch list on the southern border as we speak. How could you just not be sitting here and, like the guy on September 12th that has a time machine, he could go back to September 10th and just tell people, says, are you people not paying attention? I just don't know what else. I mean, I'm just a complete loss for words. I don't know what else to say. It'd be like somebody grabbing the captain of the Titanic and said, there's an iceberg ahead. And his response is, well, I'm late for my dinner appointment.
Yeah. I wonder if the Republican majority in the House wants to investigate the people who are in charge of this Department of Homeland Security or whomever it might be. I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. Like the idea of going through the political process of removing the people who are responsible for protecting our country and its sovereignty. What happens after that? I mean, are you going to put new blood in there under the Biden administration and they're going to suddenly go, wow, this is a disaster. We got to do something about this.
Well, first of all, I think it's absolutely vital to document the abuses of this administration in disregarding the execution of the law by every federal official responsible from the president on down. That's just part of what democracies do in good governance. Showing what people have done. That's one. The second is I do think it's important for Congress to legislate on this, because what Biden's actually done is show us there are loopholes that can be closed and other things that we can be shut off so this can't be done again. And even if that legislation doesn't pass a presidential veto, it's important to put it out there because that's a marker for a future administration. And I go back to the thing that we've been talking about since day one. Well, I wish we could have the very first time after Biden was elected that I talked on your show and we said this was going to be just a catastrophe beyond all human proportion, and this was coming. But I said the same thing. I said that this is fixable, and it's fixable because President Donald Trump demonstrated you can secure the border and you can enforce immigration law and you can deport people under existing law and you can make a difference. I mean, for example, you look at the number of deaths at the border, they were dramatically lower under Trump than under Biden. I mean, but many times lower because the border was more secure and less people were trying to cross. The illegal population in the United States was declining. The border was under operational control. The drug numbers were way down. The cartels were increasingly desperate to find ways to smuggle something in the United States. So the answer is this fixable? The answer is you bet. We just go back to doing the things that work.
Well, and if you listen to what the current administration has said in the past about their policies regarding the southern border, the kids in cages and the separating of families and so on and so forth, the current administration has presented themselves as the humane approach to this migrant crisis.
Yeah, and it's actually demonstrably proven that is a lie. The more people are dying at the border under Biden. Fact. More women are getting raped. More people are getting victimized by crime. The cartels are far wealthier. The human trafficking is way up. Sex trafficking is way up. So by every demonstrable measure of what is humane, which is respecting people's fundamental human rights, where this is a catastrophe. And so that if their one claim is, well, yes, but at least we're treating people humanely at the border, that's demonstrably a lie.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano.
And not only that,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I didn't interrupt, but not only that is we are taking resources inside the United States and we are further victimizing people because everything that's going to help an illegal alien is a program that is taking away from helping homeless people, taking care of homeless veterans, taking care of poor people in communities, food banks. Look, I'm not an ungenerous person. Of course, I want to help the needy, but you are robbing from the needy to pay to subsidize the illegal people that the Biden administration is importing. So the crimes just cascade. You're paying the world's biggest drug cartel to be even richer. You are funding leftist NGOs and making them wealthier. You are impoverishing American communities. You're putting a burden on the taxpayer, victimizing homeless people, and you're doing it all for a political agenda of importing people illegally to be here and then just throwing them out in the community.
Yeah, man. You brought up the year anniversary of our disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. I heard on Fox News today, Tim Kennedy, who's a veteran and a former UFC fighter, he volunteered with the group Save Our Allies and helped try to get some of these people who are fleeing this Taliban-controlled country. And what he identified in the Afghanistan debacle, he said it's the first time you saw Superman bleed. He's talking about the United States. A year later, what do you want Americans to understand about what took place in Afghanistan?
Well, I think everything that we warned about, this is, Americans are in Afghanistan for a reason. It's why even Donald Trump has said, I want to get out of Afghanistan, never left. There were things we were concerned about, whether it was terrorism or regional stability or dealing with China. History has proven that we were right. All of those things were absolutely valid concerns. The fact that the most hunted terrorist in the world was found living openly in Kabul, violating the Taliban made it, being hosted by the Haqqani Network, the group that brought the Al-Qaeda to Afghanistan to begin with. All of those concerns are valid. And this administration, a year later, has not only not fixed that problem, but they've repeated it over and over again. An effectless approach that didn't deter Russia from invading Ukraine, a feckless approach that didn't deter the Chinese from being enormously demonstrative and aggressive over the visit of the Speaker of Taiwan. So weakness begets weakness. And we've learned that lesson, not just in Afghanistan, but under this administration every day since then.
Jim Carafano speaking with us right now. China has weighed in on this year anniversary of Afghanistan. According to Fox News, has praised the Taliban for providing, quote, better security to Afghanistan and blasting the United States on this withdrawal anniversary. We also have seen reports today about Saudi Arabia going to China for energy purposes. And that seems to be kind of flying in the face of the United States and the president himself going to Saudi Arabia recently while we're in the midst of what has been developed as an energy crisis here in the homeland?
So I look, not only is China demonstrably an adversary of the United States, name one place in the world where the Chinese have shown up that anybody is ever better off before they got there. Not in Pakistan, where the Pakistani-China economic corridor has actually impoverished the country. Not in Sri Lanka, that went into bankruptcy. Certainly not in Afghanistan, where probably 20 million people are in a condition of famine. Women cannot work in the workplace. Children cannot go to school. Little girls can't go to school. The harshest, most orthodox Islamic society in the world would condemn the treatment of women in Afghanistan under the Taliban. And the Chinese allowed that. Well, you know what? Not a big surprise. Just this week, a UN agency confirmed that there's an ongoing genocide in China against the Uyghurs. So, anybody who thinks that the Chinese are anything, the Chinese Communist Party is anything but a force for evil in this world, they just don't understand what's going on. It's not a competitor. It's not a country we don't understand. It's not somebody we have to work with. This is a regime that wants a world without America and wants to leave a world that it's in a place that no American would want to live. And if we don't start really taking the Chinese threat seriously, then there is something fundamentally suicidal about our democracy.
Ugh. Jim Carafano with us right now. I want to ask you just to give us kind of an entry-level explanation, because I think it's something that a lot of times, a lot of these issues kind of become, there's a status quo, and we refer to things like the Uyghurs and the genocide that's taking place and the civil rights abuses that the CCP or the Chinese government is taking place. And sometimes if people are new, if people have become interested in what's going on in our country and the world, and they hear Uyghurs, they may not know the full story. What can you tell us about what the Chinese government is doing to this group of people in their country?
Right. So this is an ethnic minority in China, which has committed the egregious sin of being religiously Muslim, right? And the Chinese government specifically discourages people having both an ethnic identity and a religious identity. And so for that crime, these people have been systematically persecuted. Over 1 million Uyghurs have been put basically in what is a concentration camp. Many of them have been pushed into forced labor. So the solar panels that Joe Biden wants you to buy were actually manufactured by slave labor in China. Women have been chemically castrated. People have had forced abortions. Children have been taken away from parents. People have been executed. These are the kinds of abuses that people think of in a horror movie, and this is happening in China every day. And the Chinese government completely denies any of it's going on, and they do everything possible to ensure that the Chinese people and the world don't find out about it. And yet, because of smart, courageous, innovative, creative people, you cannot hide literally an ongoing genocide. And the Chinese, every day they'll show up at the Human Rights Council and claim a seat, or they'll claim moral superiority, or that their system is better. And they're literally persecuting people for just being who they are and no other reason.
And this is something that the world does know about. The American government does know about. The NBA does know about. And while we, twiddle our thumbs and fight over canceling each other for saying a word or something that is out of step, we just whistle past the graveyard and pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, just like there are people who, say, oh, well, why do we really worry about Russia? Shouldn't we just lift the sanctions and let's get cheaper energy and everything? The Russians have basically kidnapped over 1 million men, women, and children, forcibly expatriated them to Russia. And we have no idea what's happening to them. There are reports of children being sold into sex trafficking, people being put into forced labor, deported to Siberia. We have no idea what happened to them. This is ongoing. And who are their biggest supporters? The Chinese government. And we cannot keep turning a blind eye to these things. And okay, we're not the world's policeman, we're not the world's sheriff or babysitter or anything else. But one is we protect our interests, and the other thing is we have to have a conscience. I'm not saying that we have to go, attack Russia or invade China, but really, treating them like a normal country, making excuses for them, doing business with them. How do you sleep at night? I don't know.
Yeah, especially with all the private companies who parade around on virtue signaling all the time, but won't say a bad word about what's going on there when we know what the realities are. Jim, there's so many things taking place in the world right now on our southern border, and you are a great source of truth and information in a world where it's very hard to separate facts from narrative. We always appreciate you coming on with us.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for your show. You are a bright shining light in the sphere of radio, if that's the thing.
It is now. Thanks, Jim. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
Heritage Foundation, the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy there. Twitter him. That's the thing. At JJ Carafano. You could tweet him on Twitter at JJ Carafano. A quick break now. When we come back, Stephen Moore is going to join us. We're going to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act that does not act to reduce inflation, ironically. The president's supposed to be signing that here soon. We will watch and monitor that and bring to you any breaking news that might happen during that event. I don't know that we're really going to listen to it. I don't really want to. And I'll usually think if I don't want to, you probably don't want to. But we'll take care to watch and see what happens. If he takes questions, might be interesting to listen into that. So we'll talk to Stephen Moore when we come back. And I need you to go vote on the Andy Frey YouTube live chat poll. Will the Trump FBI raid backfire on Democrats? Yes, Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty. Or no, nothing bad happens to the Democrats. Your vote on the YouTube live chat. Steve Moore on the Andy Frey Show in just a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. This is a place for people to come together. Right here, right now. Make your voice heard. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Finding a good, reliable place for you gentlemen to get your hair cut can kind of be something that's difficult. Or if you had a place that you always have gone to in the past and maybe for whatever reason that place closed, retired, so on and so forth, give Hair Saloon a chance. When you go to Hair Saloon, they are going to treat you the way men deserve to be treated. It is a barbershop mentality and presentation, and it's a good place for you to go. I love that my husband and my son go get their hair cut together at Hair Saloon, and they each enjoy it very much. The hot towel and mint, the shampoo, the perfect haircut each and every time, complimentary shoe shine included. Hair Saloon is going to deliver for you that relaxation and that experience along with the haircut that you can rely on each and every time. Tradition, integrity, and standards still matter at Hair Saloon. They're built into how they take care of you during your haircut, and it shows. You can visit any of their 16 locations that are all listed on their website, along with your ability to book your appointment right now. Need a haircut this weekend? Get on the website and schedule your appointment today. Find them online at hairsaloon.com.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-6000 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-6000.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Alton to Afton to Collinsville to Cottleville, Clayton to Creve, your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Are Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are 2 substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 3 times a week. Yes, 3 times every weekend. Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common-sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101, now 3 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
.com. Ramblers in the wilderness, we can't find what we need. We get a little restless from search and get a little worn down in between. Like a bull chasing the matadors, a man left.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
From the sea. Brother, let me be your shelter. Never leave you alone. I can be the one you call when you're low. Brother, let me be your.
This is not going to go away, and they're not going to be saved by signing the so-called Inflation Reduction Act and then going on a nationwide tour to hype it. Every single major entity, whether it's the Congressional Budget Office or the Penn Wharton model, say that, the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, this is not going to have any impact on inflation. In fact, it's near zero impact on inflation. And the bad things in the bill begin now, and the bennies, the benefits they give people begin later.
Karl Rove said they're not going to go around the country and promote this thing. That would be great if they would go around the country and talk to people about why this is good for them, because then the people get an opportunity to talk back. That would be good.
Yeah.
Did I talk on the air about my Ron DeSantis for president? My latest thought. I don't know. Okay, folks, this isn't serious, but kind of fun. If Donald Trump, and this, I know that this would never happen. I know it. I've said this on the air before. This would never happen. But if Ron DeSantis ran for president and picked Donald Trump as his VP, then Donald Trump could be in the office for 8 more years as vice president. And then who's going to impeach Ron DeSantis?
Nobody.
You get Donald Trump. It's the same thing as Kamala Harris. Joe Biden can continue to be the president of the United States because the alternative is Kamala Harris. It would be that tenfold for the Republicans. And then after Donald Trump is vice president for 8 years, he could go run for president again when he's 94 or something. And still probably do a better job than the current administration. It's just funny to think about. I don't actually think that's going to happen. But Donald Trump could go around the country and do his Donald Trump America First things as the vice president while Ron DeSantis gets the train back on track. It's not going to happen. I know it. It's just funny to think about.
It's just the hype man at that point.
Yes,
you go out there and you get to do all the cool things, and you don't have to worry about all the frustrating things.
I just enjoy the fact that he would just be there.
Yes,
for 8 more years.
And
it's funny.
All the media attention would be on him,
and
then DeSantis is doing the things and getting stuff done without the media eyes on him. In gaming, we call it drawing aggro. You have one person whose goal is to get the attention of the big bad guy.
Okay, stop. That's me. That's what I do in Fortnite.
So we call that person the tank.
Yes, that's what that is what every female wants to be called.
Absorb the damage.
Hi, I'm Tank. Nice to meet you. You want to know how I got that name? So you go out and you draw out the
get the bad guys, get their attention on you while the operatives come in and take them out.
Fortnite Trump tank Trump Fortnite. I was just playing the other night with my brother, and it's the only game that I'll play that is like a shooter game, because Fortnite is very colorfully pretty. There's no graphic nature at all to, I mean, there's a gun and you're shooting a gun at another character in the game. So there is that, but there's no
blood.
Nothing. It's nothing.
When your character gets eliminated, they just get beamed out.
Yeah. Yeah. To heaven. That's not true. But there are always things in the game. This is a little bit about my personality that I didn't realize until I was playing this. And I'm not good. I think this is a very sexist thing for me to say, but I'm going to say it. I don't think girls are as good at shooting games as boys. I don't know how to scientifically measure that. And there are definitely girls out there who can be as good as boys. But if you were to put a boy and a girl who have never played before, I think that there's just something in the boys' brain that makes them focus more. And I say this, and my daughter Jensen's probably listening right now, and she's like so offended. Sorry. Because she's actually really good at it too. So maybe, let me rephrase. Old men are better at video games than old women, which I put myself in. But when I'm playing, you can play in like duos, so you can play two people. And I was playing with my brother this past weekend, and they had spaceships that could like beam thing, like you could send pulses and blow buildings up or whatever. So my job is to go find the spaceship, because he's really good at the shooting part and eliminating other players. My job is to find the spaceship and to go create a ruckus as much as I possibly can, because then people shoot at you, and then he goes and shoots them.
Yep.
Sneakily. And he's good at it. And I'm good at the diversion. Tank.
Yep. Draw an aggro.
Yeah, that's what Trump needs to do. Trump is the alien spaceship that goes out into the country and creates a diversion. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis is getting the country back on track. That's a fantastic plan.
It's brilliant.
It's never going to happen, but I just keep thinking about it.
Oh, it would be so great. It would happen if Trump were so America first that he would realize that was the best way to get the country back on track.
And I'm not opposed to him being the next president, or to being the president again. It's just going to be I have to start training for it. I need to like get the calisthenics going so that I am in election years shape, so that I can cover this thing and trudge through all of the madness, because it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But better for the country, for sure.
Oh, for sure. So much better leadership.
Holly wants to know if I do Animal Crossing. I have played Animal Crossing. I play it and I'm like, why do people like this? And then an hour has passed, and I don't understand why I'm still playing it. I haven't played it in a long time. That's a game that is my first grader. She's my first grader. I was going to say my kindergartner. My 6-year-old, that's her game that she has. And so we'll play it with her every once in a while. But it's bizarre. But I have played it because she wants to play it, and she'll like tell me what to go do, or she'll do it herself. And it's just like I think like a thing like Animal. Have you ever played Animal Crossing?
No, that's not my thing.
No, but it's like it's a concept that I feel like I'm on the edge of people who understand why anybody would want to participate in something like that. What was the game that was on Facebook? Farmville?
Yes.
I don't think that I ever played Farm. No, I definitely didn't. But didn't you like create a farm and take care of it?
Yeah, and then you could like,
why don't you just get a job and take care of yourself?
Trade your other farm.
I don't know. I never played it, but some people were. Maybe still are. Does it still exist?
I haven't seen anybody playing that in years. But that doesn't mean that people don't, because the people that get heavily invested in that keep going.
But Animal Crossing is kind of the same. It's just like is that role? Is it an RPG?
RPG role-playing game?
Is that what that is?
No, I don't think it is.
I mean, I don't know what that category is, but Animal Crossing is like you're a character and you're on an island, and you start with like a tent, and you have to take the resources from the island and make things happen. And as you do that, you advance the level. And like you could, at the end, I don't know, there is an end. That's the thing. Like how do I win? That's what I want to know. Where's the point where I win this game and I can tell people I beat it? You don't do that with those because you just continuously develop and improve and whatever.
Yeah.
Holly says in my bedtime, when I wind down, I enjoy designing the houses. Is that in Farmville? Oh no, she's talking about Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that in my ignorance, I would judge it. And then I play it with my kids. Fortnite is exactly the same thing. I would be like, I'm not going to play Fortnite. And then I love playing Fortnite. It's super fun. My kids love to do it. So we get to play together. My husband will play too. And it's just something that is entertaining for all of us to do. And it's something we can do to spend time together.
My friends were very judgmental about me playing Fortnite, because it's like, well, Annie plays it. And so we played together and we're looking at ways that we can.
Was that all you needed to say? Annie plays it.
Well, I said we were looking at ways to expand it. I said, and actually, it's very similar to the games that we're already playing.
Yeah.
I said, but the shooting mechanics are better. And guess what they're all doing now?
Yeah.
And they're playing, and they're like
Fortnite
levels
forever?
like 495.
Are you kidding?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like my one friend, he's out and he's playing against like Twitch streamers.
Really?
Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
So this past weekend, Jamie Lissau was in town. He's a comedian. He's on Gutfeld. Brad went to see him Friday night. I went to see him Saturday night. I met many of you folks who happened to be there. That was great to be able to see people and talk to people who, again, that was another instance where I was sitting in this room full of hundreds of people and it was packed, sold out. People squished in as much as you possibly could. And I was like, we're just here laughing about jokes. No COVID. No COVID anything.
It was awesome.
It was 100% normal. And he was hilarious. Like my neck and my traps from laughing so hard, I was sore at the end of the night because we were laughing so hard. He was so funny. He has, I think, 3 kids. And I think his 3 kids are like all the same ages as mine. I have one more little baby. But he was saying on our show when we interviewed him last week that he plays Fortnite.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Tyrus plays Fortnite, but I know he plays video games. So I don't know if he's like dabbled in that. It would be even better if he doesn't, but he'd be willing to try. I want to play Fortnite with Jamie Lissau and Tyrus.
Oh, that would be great.
On the Annie Frey Show. And have you people watch us play on Twitch. A lot more people are exposed to Twitch now because of our YouTube ban, which we are out of right now. But if we did that, would you watch it? And then I thought what we could do is, Brad, if you produced it, people could send questions and you would rapid fire questions that we would have to answer while we were playing Fortnite.
Oh, this would be great.
So fun.
Yes.
So I'm going to see if they'll do it. And I'd love to know if you think that that's something you guys would like to watch. Make sure you follow us on Twitch because we have from time to time gone live on Twitch playing video games because we're trying things out. We don't really know 100%. It's like we're much more novice when it comes to that. So every once in a while we'll get on in the evening and we'll stream. And if you're on there, you can talk to us because there's not a lot of people who are on there. Like, oh, hey, we'll just talk to one person who spends their time watching with us. So just a way for you to connect with us in we're trying to do new, unique, fun things. And I cannot think of anything that would be more fun with Jamie Lissau and Tyrus playing Fortnite at the same time, being distracted while we ask them actual questions.
Oh, yes. And oh, man. Yeah. And Unchained too, because they don't have to be FCC compliant either.
Yeah.
They can just be themselves.
I said I wanted to be like PG-13, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't know that it's going to be. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to hopefully connect with Steve Moore here after this quick break. If not, we'll get to him later in the week. I know that with the president signing the Inflation Reduction Act, he's in high demand. So we'll get to him when we can. If not, we've got you and you've got us here, and we're A-okay with that. Ryan Wiggins will be back in the studio here shortly. And your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Have you gone to the Annie Frey YouTube channel yet? We'd love to have you there. And you can vote in the live chat poll. Will the Trump FBI raid backfire on Democrats? Yes, Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty. Or no, nothing bad happens to the Democrats. Your vote there. And we'll be back here in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Show.
Jeremiah Poff with the Washington Examiner.
You're dealing with racialized concepts being pushed into math curriculum. Really, this is about attaining equal outcomes instead of equal opportunity.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
When it comes to talking to you, especially when I visit these events with Thomas Helbig and the family business at Retirement Advisory Group, and I'm talking to you about, it's always people who are, mid 50s or a little bit older, maybe a little bit in their early 50s, but you're nearing retirement. And I'm looking at you and I'm knowing that you've gone through life, even like at my age when I got 4 younger kids, and I'm making sacrifices right now so that I can have a retirement in the future. I'm decades away from that. You might be looking at that right around the corner. It's a whole different mentality when you don't have as much time as you may have dollars to set aside right now. Thomas Helbig can help make that transition from earning and saving to retiring and living off of the sacrifice that you have made so that moment, that retirement moment, is exactly what you've been planning for. Take out the worry, take out the anxiety. Do that with the Retirement Advisory Group and Thomas Helbig and his family business there. You can call him at 314-993-9494 to make an appointment. That's 314-993-9494. Reach out to them and schedule an appointment and just listen to what he has to say. I think you'll be very glad that you did. Tell him the Annie Frey Show sent you. All the information online at retirementkey.com.
It will be the summer of joy in Chicago.
Instead, the trio of Pritzker, Lightfoot, and Fox have made this another summer of murder, mayhem, and chaos.
My granddaughter FaceTimed us saying, "Help me, Daddy's shot." And then he threw him and they executed him. And then they shot at her.
Thanks to Governor Pritzker, the lawlessness of Chicago will soon be the law statewide. Pritzker's so-called Safety Act makes Illinois a safe haven for violent criminals. That's why 100 of Illinois' 102 county state's attorneys oppose Pritzker's mandatory release of alleged murderers, kidnappers, and arsonists. Prosecutors like Will County State's Attorney Jim Glasgow.
It's going to be literally the end of days.
And prosecutors like DuPage County State's Attorney Bob Berlin.
We are going to have violent criminals out on the street.
Stop Chicago violence from coming to your town. Vote no on J.B. Pritzker. Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
Summertime is no time to run out of energy, guys, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here. Book your appointment today at any of their 3 locations. They're now in Wing Haven in O'Fallon, Missouri. They're in Town & Country in the original location in O'Fallon, Illinois. Victory Men's Health has 400 plus 5-star Google reviews. There isn't another men's clinic in town that comes close to that kind of rating. Book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show.
She grew up on the side of the road.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
And strong love grows. She grew up.
Well, wealthy corporations and individuals definitely have the means and have always had the means to protect themselves against intrusive audits and other bureaucratic regulations that come from the federal government. It is ludicrous to pretend that this hiring of 87,000 agents, and the arming of these IRS agents is being done to go after wealthy corporations or wealthy individuals. It's to go after average Americans, and it's part of an orchestrated campaign to kind of target Americans and have the federal government be at war with those Americans. It is interesting that this, so-called Inflation Reduction Act, I saw a poll showing that only 15% believed that it would reduce inflation. And that makes sense because there's nothing in the bill that would reduce inflation.
So Fox News reporting that the White House is not saying when the Inflation Reduction Act will begin to cut inflation. It's should be the subheader of the bill that was signed. It just turns out they, I guess, named it whatever was the biggest problem facing the administration. They had named it that and said, oh, this will help. And then now the people who are experts go, it's not going to help. And in fact, the only way that it seems as though they feel you can benefit is if you go spend a lot of money on things that they approve that are going to make the environment better. And then they admit, we'll give you some of your tax dollars back in a credit. That doesn't have much to do with the inflation reduction. But yet here we are. Speaking of those experts, our resident expert, Steve Moore joins us right now, senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. You've got to be a busy dude right now with all of this information going on in the world.
Annie, great to be with you. Sorry to be a little late today, but you're right. Today has been a busy day because, of course, the president signed this god-awful bill into law, so it's official. This is now the law of the land. Those 87,000 additional IRS agents and the $730 billion of additional spending, and then the massive tax increase on American businesses. And by the way, you're right. It's a joke. I don't think anybody really believes that this is going to reduce inflation. But they have all these talking points. The Democrats. If you notice that, Annie, they all sing out of the same hymnal. And so their latest talking point. I'm not making this up. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy.
They're saying this bill is going to make America energy independent.
Great.
Gee, I thought we had energy independence the day that Biden entered into office. He's the one who's made us energy dependent, not energy independent. And so they think that by destroying the American oil and gas and coal industry, where we get 70% of our energy, and then flushing the zone with $300 and some billion for windmills and solar panels, that's going to make America energy independent. If anybody really believes that, I want what you're smoking.
Yeah, Steve Moore with us right now. And, I think about all the way that this administration specifically tries to use words to hoodwink the American people.
Exactly.
But we've heard the smartest in the political game say it's the economy, stupid. We're 80 some days away from the election, and you can call it the Inflation Reduction Act. You think voters out there are going to feel as though the pain has been reduced for them because of this act?
Well, not because of this bill. I mean, the inflation rate is coming down finally from its Mount Everest high, all-time, practically the highest level in 40 years. We are seeing some relief at the gas pump finally after gas in some markets hit $6 a gallon. It's now down to about $4 a gallon in most. That's quote improvement. It was $2.50 a gallon when Trump left office. So I do think you're going to see some improvement in the inflation rate. But don't forget, Annie, when Trump left office, we had a 1.5% inflation rate. We're not going to get anywhere near that. I mean, I think they might be able to get the inflation rate down to maybe 6%, which is still a really high inflation rate. And don't forget, even though gas prices are coming down, Annie, have you been to the grocery store lately?
Oh, it's so, everything's so high.
I mean, milk, eggs, beef, all the staples that you have to buy. Wheaties. I mean, that kind of stuff is so expensive now. So we've shifted from the energy prices being high to now the food prices being high. And the only reason the gas prices are low, and I want to make sure your listeners understand this, is because we're driving less because we can't afford to fill up the tank, when it's $5 and $6 a gallon. So the data show that people did use as much gasoline this summer as they did back in 2020 during the COVID, crisis. So the economy is in really tough shape, I think, right now. And these are all self-inflicted wounds. And no, this bill will not reduce inflation. If you believe that, then you believe that the Obama Affordable Care Act made healthcare more affordable.
Yeah. It's just words with these folks, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't think the American people are falling for it. I'm glad you brought up COVID, because we were talking earlier in the show just about kind of the COVID hangover, things that are you still feel part of in your life, but they're not really real. It's just kind of the after effects. Is this economy still in a COVID hangover right now?
Well, it's funny you should ask that question, because we have an item in our hotline today that everybody should get, by the way. Go to Committee to Unleash Prosperity website and sign up for free. But did you know that 80 Democrats did not show up for the vote?
No.
They voted by proxy.
Oh.
So this is what they call one of the most historical, votes and, transformational vote. This is gigantic. And 80 of the Democrats voted by proxy. Now, under normal times, you're not allowed to vote by proxy. You have to show up on the House floor. But they changed the rules during COVID. So if you have COVID or have been infected by COVID, then you can vote by essentially a proxy vote. Now, do you believe, Annie, for 1 second, that there are 80 Democrats in the House? And by the way, I think there were something like 65 Republicans who voted proxy. Do you think there's 150 members of Congress who have COVID?
No, we'd know about it if they did.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I just find that to be outrageous that these members of Congress to say they're doing, we're transforming America. They couldn't even bother. They phoned it in. They couldn't even bother to show up. Outrageous. Now, where we are with COVID right now, thank God, it's winding down, but not the restrictions and not the mandates. There's still a lot of areas where mandates and mass mandates and things, they don't want to call this thing off because they love bossing us around.
Yeah. They've been given so much control in the last couple of years.
Exactly.
They're not going to relinquish it. Let me ask you this. We're a ways away from potentially a new president in 2024. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 2.5 years of this administration. But let's just say a nameless Republican, gets into the presidency in 2024. Are there a lot of stops that could be pulled in immediately by a new administration that would get this economy back on fire?
Just reverse everything Biden's done.
Yeah, that's that simple.
Repeal all these new regulations, get back to what's happening with China right now. We're playing right into the hands of China, and Russia with these energy policies. Let's make energy number one. Let's be number one in everything we've got. Let's secure our border. What a concept, right?
For sure.
Let's finish building the wall. Let's get crime out of our cities. I mean, these are things that are all easy. It's not that hard to do. and let's stop spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars we don't have.
It would be a fantastic
how's that for an
start.
agenda?
Yeah, just undo what was done. Steve Moore, last question I have for you, because we're going to have to run here in a second, though. When I've heard some of the people in this administration, a lot of the spokespeople who come out and try to answer for the high inflation rates or the high gas prices, so on and so forth, a lot of times they say, hey, the whole world's going through a recession. It's not that bad here in the United States. One person even said, at least we're not in a famine. Like, this is the standard with which Americans are supposed to be like,
exactly.
oh, you're right.
Thank
Things are
God,
going great here. How is the United States faring economically compared to our fellow countries around the world?
Well, it's a truism that I've said for 25 years, that when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches pneumonia. So our economy is weak, and of course, so many other countries are dependent on the U.S. economy that it's really caused problems. And you do have. That's the tragedy of what Biden has done to the world economy and the American economy, is you do have these poorer countries. It doesn't mean, you can't take a vacation. It means your kids might go hungry at night. And that's what's really scary about this contraction of not just the U.S. economy, but the world economy. And when you're not, by the way, energy is critical to food production. So when you cut back on your energy production, you're going to, reduce your crop yields and things of that nature. So I don't understand the war against American energy. I think it's one of the most backward things I've ever seen. We could be number one again in producing everything: oil, gas, coal, hydropower, nuclear power. Why aren't we producing nuclear plants?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
There's no greenhouse gases with nuclear power. Why are they against that, Annie?
Well, because they want to control the narrative. Like you said, the power that they've sucked up and their ability to drive the narrative. I think that's the driving factor. We got to run Steve Moore with us right now. And next time we talk, I would like to discuss with you, Steve Moore, the Chicago governor's race. If you've paid any attention to that, the opportunity for Illinois to maybe potentially shift.
Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey's got to beat Putzker.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's your campaign speech. We'll talk about it next time. Steve Moore, thanks for making time for us today. We appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Big day for him with the Inflation Reduction Act being signed. He's being pulled in a lot of places. And you know what? A lot of times when guests on a day like this, if some news happens and develops and they need to go elsewhere, somewhere that's bigger and more important than us, there are a lot of those places that exist. Steve Moore always asks if he can come on a little bit later because he still wants to talk to you. That's a very, very kind thing for him to do for the 97.1 listeners. Brian and Hannah and Brad in the studio. When we come back, don't go away.
About you doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? Maybe you've tried all kinds of remedies with no relief.
It was terrible. I was in tears a lot. It hurt that bad. For 2 years, I was watching these commercials thinking, this can't be real. You know, you're never going to find out if you don't try. So my legs and my feet do not hurt like they did before Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Your comfort zone needs to be accommodated in your house or in your place of business. If you make the HVAC decisions or the phone calls, at least for your office, and right now, for whatever reason, the temperature in your building is off, I want you to understand that Air Comfort Service is just a phone call away. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. If you visit their website at aircomfortservice.com, you'll see some of the amazing staff members that lead Air Comfort Service. You'll see that they have been in business for over a half a century based on working with amazing people just like you. You'll also see different ways that they make sure that you get the best service possible, including opportunities to save money on getting from where you are right now back into your comfort zone. Air Comfort Service is a proud partner here with us on the Annie Frey Show and 97.1 FM Talk. Give them a call, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomesaintlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A legal battle over search warrant details. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Former President Trump is calling on a Florida judge to release the unredacted affidavit used to request the search warrant that FBI agents executed at his Florida home last week. The Justice Department is opposed to a full release.
In a court filing, federal prosecutors asked the court to deny any revelation that might otherwise present the affidavit to American citizens. They feel like this will actually jeopardize the investigation.
Fox's Kevin Corke, a hearing on that issue is now set for Thursday in Florida. President Biden this afternoon will be signing into law legislation dubbed the Inflation Reduction Act. Supporters say it will lower prescription drug prices for seniors and provide more than $360 billion in climate and energy initiatives. It's also designed to generate $700 billion in revenue by imposing a minimum corporate tax and increased IRS enforcement. Republicans say it won't affect inflation, but will hurt the economy. President Biden returned to Washington from vacation in South Carolina without the First Lady, as the White House says Jill Biden tested positive for COVID-19 this morning and is experiencing mild symptoms.
The First Lady will stay in a private home in South Carolina and plans to return to Washington after 2 consecutive negative tests. The White House says the president, who recently recovered from his own bout with COVID, will mask for 10 days when inside and close to others, and will continue to test each day.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. Federal regulators have finalized a long-awaited rule that's expected to allow millions of Americans to buy hearing aids without a prescription. When it takes effect later this year, the rule will create a new class of hearing aids that don't require a medical exam or prescription. Devices for more severe hearing loss will remain prescription only. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Kind of gloomy, damp, and cool going through our Tuesday afternoon. Cloud showers. Still could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning, but that's very limited. Only 74 for the high. Tonight, cloud showers, a rumble, everything fading well after midnight. 62 for the low, but the evening will be a little bit wet. Wednesday, clouds going to sunshine and 78, 82, and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
Remember, the National Archives are the ones that referred this to the Department of Justice, but they, the same principal, failed to refer Hillary Clinton to the Department of Justice when they got their hands on the classified emails from those servers.
This has never happened in U.S. history, a president's home being raided. If these documents are so sensitive, nuclear secrets, why did the Justice Department wait so long? What's the urgency here?
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage online. You can Google the bagel loan. It's super easy to do. You just Google bagel loan. Why bagel loan? Well, because bagel looks like a zero. And when you use the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, you can't get a bagel loan anywhere else. It's only with Stewie. He calls it a bagel loan because it looks like a zero, which is what you pay in fees when you go through a mortgage refinance or a home purchase at Stewart's American Mortgage. He's not going to charge you any of those fees. And no, they don't get tucked away or financed into the loan. They do not exist. You will save a ton of money going through your refinance on your home with Stewie. He's also going to commit to you to get that lowest rate available to you. Now, rates aren't as historically low as they've been before, but especially when you factor in the rate of inflation, it's still a great opportunity right now if you need to take cash out of your house to pay down debt, to invest in your home, to go with a mortgage cash out refinance using the bagel loan and Stewie. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business.
Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494, or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you need last-minute hires in no time, you need Indeed. Their integrated hiring solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Mark Cox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Kilmeade.
How about this?
Annie Fry.
Wow, we really got to change course.
Mark Reardon.
Coming together.
Dana Lash.
I mean, it's 2022.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Do I look like this in real life?
You know what?
Or do I look weirder?
Only because you pointed out on the camera. Now that I'm looking at you in real life, yes, I can see that.
So,
I never would have thought about it.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're doing everything we can to not talk about Trump and the FBI. Guess what? It still happens. Still doesn't make sense. Still makes everybody mad. We'll update you when there's more.
Does my head look weird?
Meanwhile, look at my hair on this live stream. And the reason why I say that is because I quit coloring my hair. I think it's like 6 years ago. I haven't colored my hair for over 6 years. My hair is gray and I needed to color my hair. It was like 2016, maybe 2016 or 2017. I don't know. I needed to color my hair, but it was growing out and it was gray. Gray is very popular and in right now. I didn't know that because I'm not cool like that. I started getting compliments on my hair color and asking where I was getting it done. And I'm like, it's funny you say that. I actually need to get my hair done. And they're like, oh, why? Gray's totally in. So it took me like 2 weeks to be like, don't talk about my gray hair because I've always been covering it up. I started having gray hair when I was in high school easily. Do you have gray? You've got gray in your beard, Ryan.
Yeah, people are always asking me who does your beard.
Yeah. And you're like, I do it myself.
It's actually natural. It's so crazy that you asked.
Is Brad always the one asking you? He's really into beards.
Yeah, he's always asked. He's texting me.
Do you have gray hair?
Just a little bit, like right here.
But not on your head?
I can't see it. I keep my hair so short and it's light. It's hard to tell.
It's coming in right here now, you guys. It's starting to come in on my
Great
sides.
radio.
I'm going to be honest.
You could be pointing to literally anywhere.
It's coming in right here.
No!
I didn't do anything.
It away.
I didn't do anything. But now. Oh, now I can't. No coming back from that. No,
You're
if you were
telling
watching
me.
the stream, I did not do
I
anything.
need a day off.
You are creating theater of the mind. Is what you're
radio.
doing. That's what radio is.
And this is a horror story.
Yeah, that was a bad one. And it's all your fault. Continue.
So anyway, gray hair.
Yeah, so
I always
so
wanted
your crazy head.
I always
how
wanted
long
this.
Ryan will waffle on this.
I wanted the sides to grow in gray. I always thought that was a cool look, and instead I got male pattern baldness, and it's just not fair.
Oh,
It's not fun when it starts at 19, I can tell you that.
Gosh.
does it bother you? Real question.
Yeah.
You're not bald. You have hair, but you do have more forehead.
Well, yeah. That's the thing is when you post a picture of yourself on Facebook and your friends from high school haven't seen you in 3 years, they go, "Whoa, look at a lot more forehead there, buddy."
That's not a forehead. That's a 5 head.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a great one. It does bother me. You know how they say that your baldness comes from your mom's side? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. Male pattern baldness is your mom's dad is what you're supposed to look at.
And or her
Which sounds
brothers.
really confusing. It sounds like what Congress decided to use to pass an Inflation Reduction Act.
Here's how we're calculating baldness now.
Scientifically speaking.
But I've also heard that other people have come out and said, no, that's just a urban legend. That's not really the way it is. But my hairline has followed my mom's brothers to a T.
So there's some there.
So there's got to be something there. Because my dad also is bald, but his is completely different than mine. But mine was just like my mom's brothers.
So the whole conversation started because I was looking down at my computer because we were about to start up. And if you're watching on the YouTube live chat, you will know what we're talking about. If you're not, I'll explain it to you because this here is what we call theater of mind. And
that's right. Look right here.
When I look down, it's like 2 inches. The front of my hair is a whole shade darker than the back of my hair, which seems to be really great. Now, I'm looking at this in the camera and I have lights on me, so it's not like it's shadowy. Do you see that in real life on my hair?
Heck yeah. That's called a vitamin deficiency.
Oh, hush. At least I don't have a hair deficiency. What about you?
Yeah, I see it.
Yank at the collar there, the theater of the mind.
You can see it on my head?
Yes.
On my head?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not really bad. I just didn't know that it was like that. And I wonder if people think that I colored it that way.
I have no idea.
I'm not really sure I know hair color.
Which way is it going? Is the dark part going backwards? Or
I don't
is the
know.
light
I
part
just
going
discovered
forward?
this 10 minutes ago.
I feel like I'm having deja vu, like we've talked about this before, but we obviously haven't. Maybe I've noticed it before and I never said anything.
You just had a conversation like, what the heck is she doing with
at
her
home
hair?
at night? Katie, look at the live stream.
Did you see her hair? She doesn't even know. I don't know if I should tell her. I think she'll be embarrassed. She should be.
What are you going to do? Are you going to do something about it?
No, I don't care. I just didn't. It's kind of weird to like all of a sudden realize that you've been publicly a certain way for your for the last 10 years and be like, who knew?
That it's amazing that you decided to do that at the exact moment that gray became a cool thing. You like Steve Martin'd it.
I didn't, but I didn't know it. Like I didn't discover it. Kind of like what we're talking about right now. Someone's like, oh, hey.
Have you ever been ahead of any trend? Would you be considered trendy?
If super conservative prude apple pie is 10 years away, here I am, ladies and gentlemen.
Super conservative prude apple pie. You know what's really in right now?
That's my resume.
Here in 2032.
I am really boring. The most adventurous thing I do is play Fortnite with my kids. I know it's shooting people, but you know it's pretty colors. I literally said that the last segment.
You ever had gooey butter cake? No, but have you ever had a prude apple pie? They're delicious here in 2032 where we are.
No, I'm not ahead of the trends, but I've never cared about trends. Actually, don't like trends because I don't want to be dictated to what my style is.
Mm-hmm. I will only allow my wife
now
to determine
you
my trend.
Are super
That's it.
trendy.
No, I'm not. But when I wear something that you're like, dang, you're looking good, it's because Katie Wiggins.
Do you say that to Mrs. Wiggins?
No, you say that to me in your head.
In your head.
I went to read one comment and came back into that conversation. I have no idea what's going on.
I know very much when I wear a shirt that my wife picked out for me versus when I wear one that I got for free at an Illinois policy event. Like
you can
today.
tell. That's a great shirt, though.
I know. I do like this shirt.
I said to
Those shirts
Brad
are
just
fantastic.
before I was looking through my closet today, and my 6-year-old can attest to this because she was helping dress me today, and go, I just want to wear something comfortable today. Like, just looking for something that's cozy but presentable. And I almost wore up one of my blue Cardinal shirts, and I was like, I'm not going to wear it because it's a giveaway. And it's like,
I've got the same one.
A men's, not that one.
But I've got the same one that
I
you
bought
have
this.
because I think we went to the same game.
Well, I have several. One of them's like got a hood on it.
I've got that one.
And then the other one is like it's a really nice baby blue jersey or whatever. So I was thinking about wearing one of those. I was like, meh. And then I thought I had that in my hand. And I said, if I told Brad, I go, if I would have come here wearing the same shirt that Ryan Wiggins,
There'd have been problems.
we would have had to make you change.
We would have done one of those things where we would just walk in a circle and then stand and see if people could pick which one was which.
One of those things?
Yeah, you know one of those things?
No.
Like they do in movies and cartoons?
So, no, I don't know that. Holly on YouTube says, gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness. And that is biblical.
Oh, darn right.
Man.
Proverbs 16:31.
That's like a Proverbs 31 woman, but the verse, not the chapter.
That's right.
I like it.
You're saying a thing.
Attained in the way of righteousness, which can also be said by being conservative prude apple pie or whatever I called myself.
I got it for the first time in my life. Really question that verse. I know some people who have gray hair who would not be considered righteous.
The way of righteousness. Who? Name names.
Robert Reich.
That's a good start. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
I'm excited to get an update on last week's highly controversial action of yours with our friends down at KFC downstairs. Do you want to set the table before you give us the latest installment in your ethically and morally questionable behavior?
Yes, I would. Thank you for putting it that way.
I want to set it up right.
Here's what happened. Last week. I was feeling a little down, a little tired.
No, you were just thirsty.
I was thirsty and I wanted a soda.
Like a child.
Give me a little bit.
Tugging on the bottom of my shirt going, Annie, I'm going to get a drink.
Yeah, Annie, I want a drink. Annie, watch me. I'm going to jump in the pool. Look. Annie, watch. Annie, can I go outside? Can you zip me up?
Yes. What?
Things kids say that adults shouldn't. Put that one in the category.
No.
All right. So what I did was I went down to KFC and I got my meal with my cup and had my meal at mealtime, just like normal. But at this time of day, I thought, you know what? I could use a little jolt. I could use some Mountain Dew.
Mealtime. That's another thing children say.
At mealtime.
Brad, do you have mealtime?
No.
Don't you just get hungry and eat?
Yes.
It's mealtime, everyone.
Mealtime.
Okay. Ooh,
with
yeah,
Ryan
mealtime.
Wiggins.
I get to run down to KFC and
Lunchables.
have my meal. And I went back down there with my same cup of the day and refilled it. Now, I was going to ask, is this okay? Because I really didn't know. Is this a morally gray area where you go back into the restaurant, which is right below us, and refill? But it was too busy and I wasn't able to ask, and I had to come back up here to get back on the air.
You
So
ate lunch at 11?
Roughly 11:30, something like that.
Saved your cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then at about 1:55
Yes.
p.m. later that day, after leaving the restaurant,
Yes.
hours later, you went down for a free refill.
Yes. I went down for a refill because if I was going to ask.
Did you pay for it?
And if they said, no, you can't do free refills, I was going to pay for it, but I couldn't ask. The line would have taken too long. And
so
I already had it
instead
filled.
of just walking out because you didn't get to ask.
Well, I would have just had to leave my full cup there and walk out. So I was like, at this point, I've already filled it.
So you filled it already and then thought maybe I should ask.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way. It's the way this played out. And all of St. Louis told me I was wrong. So
They even gave you the legal statute.
Yeah. I think Officer Gary or somebody said, here is why you can't do that, Ryan. Well, guess what? Everybody, and I don't mean everybody but me, I mean including me, all of us were wrong. Nobody had the right answer to this.
You went back.
I went back today. And I went early, and I've usually before 11:30, it's not that busy, so I don't feel bad standing there talking with the girl. So I did. I said, okay, here's the deal. I do radio upstairs. We had a big discussion about this. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? Okay. So
you had to drop the radio line,
I did. I was leaning like this.
You didn't say, I'm an average Joe from the bank across the street. I mean nothing and I talk to nobody. Yeah.
I'm leaning on the counter. I got my foot
I'm in the KFC industry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're in an industry. I'm in an industry. We're both in industries, but in mine.
Yeah, but your industry is a capital I.
Only when I name drop it, which I do often. I asked her. Okay,
G-Libs on YouTube says, "Oh, he's pulling the celebrity card."
Wait, you know what?
Very loosely, Wiz.
Check the tape. I think one of you guys told me last week. Tell her you're doing radio and that you want to find out the answer to this. So I did.
I think it was me.
I think it was you.
I think I said you need to get them up here on the radio.
You know what? I was going to record her on my phone. I just felt bad. I just felt bad doing it.
No,
'Cause
that
I
feeling
thought-
is called feeling weird. And I know that you're not used to that emotion.
I don't have usually a strong conscience about those things, but I did today. So I just asked her, I said, okay, here's the situation. I explained everything we just talked about.
Brandon says, don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
Is that how you started
At that point, I was leaning with both hands over the counter. Hello, it's me, Orion. Back on Tuesday, just like usual, getting my free box. I said, okay, here's the deal. I got my cup. I walked out. I filled it up. I walked out. I work upstairs. So I came back down within about an hour and a half, refilled it. Okay or not? And I'll pay if it's not. And she says, the issue is, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, all right. So I'm reaching for my wallet. All right, I'll pay for it. And she said, actually, it's not even about the cost. She said it's about compliance with regulations.
Health codes.
Codes. It's about you can't take any cup, whether it's theirs or any cup. You can't bring a cup from outside in because they haven't properly monitored that.
But if you stayed in there and you were using the cup they issued you multiple times, that was fine.
Completely fine.
But you can't take your cup outside, roll it in some cocaine, and then tap it back up on the.
That's right. Or dirt or fecal matter. You can't do any of those things.
I
asked.
But just those three things.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to give you 3 things that I would roll that cup in.
Other than that, we're cool.
She said, well, those 3 things probably not, but anything else. No, that was the rule. And I was like, you know what? None of us came up with that as the answer, but that makes perfect sense. And that's one of the reasons that you don't see as much probably the refillable cups at gas stations as much as you used to, because you used to be able to buy like one QT cup.
Well, Starbucks is doing that now. You can buy a refillable cup from Starbucks. I don't know. There's got to be
some
Are
sort
they
of
steaming it or something? I don't know.
Well, I wonder if you buy the cup and then you just show them the cup and they're just giving you the drink.
But the point is to reduce waste.
Oh, then I wouldn't do that.
That's extra waste.
We've created extra waste for you. No, I have no idea how they're getting away with that.
Did you pay for the refill?
Well, she didn't even. She was like, "No, I don't even care about that. It's the health thing."
They do that at gas stations too, right? You used to be able to buy the Polar Pop cup or whatever it was called at, I forget the name of the gas station. Circle K.
Love them.
And you can get remember they had the real big one. It was like 64 ounces and you could refill
like
it.
the Lambert size cup.
And I know growing up that we used to be able to get, you could bring your own coffee mug and get coffee at the gas station for a reduced price.
I don't want to put where I'm drinking off of a cup up on somewhere else, someone that's doing the same thing.
Yeah, what she said makes sense, which is why I'm surprised that does still exist in some places, because you'd think the code would be the same.
Is the KFC refillable thing where you set it down and you push a button, it comes down, or do you have to click in the lever?
You got to click in.
So there's content, or that context, I should say, to why it would be specifically that way. And I don't want to do that. It's different if you can put it down, sit it there, push a button, and it comes out. I mean, I don't know who's making contact with that spout.
There's some guy in there. when he hears the click, he knows the different sounds of the clicks, and he presses a button inside the machine.
Oh,
that's how it works. So,
did she offer? She didn't tell you to come back and get refills, and she'd give you a new cup or anything.
No, she did not offer.
This just ended in you not being told you don't need to do this anymore. You've atoned for your actions. You offered to pay. They said no need. All is well that ends well, but you won't do that anymore.
No, but now they know I'm a huge celebrity, so I feel like it's still kind of a win.
This is actually all the end around of the whole point of all of this. He got to go tell KFC, you know who I am, right? They're like, no, who are you?
You told me to do it. You told me to do it.
Hi, I'm Tom Ackerman.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. More than ever, this is where St. Louis is coming to talk. Computer, smart speaker, radio, phone. People are gathering here. Thanks for listening and staying connected. 97.1 FM Talk.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
If you are looking to purchase or to sell a home on the Illinois side of the river, you need to know Jen Teske, Teske. That is Jen's last name, and she works with Remax Alliance. She knows the Metro East area like the back of her hand, and she is going to position you when you go to sell your home with Jen Teske. She is going to help you with all of the facts and information and the advice that you need to sell it for top dollar and to sell it fast. Prices are still elevated on homes. You need to make sure that when you do list your home, you get the most out of it, and Jen can absolutely help you do that. I'm going to give you the number here. You can call or text, and I'm going to do it again at the end of this. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. She can help you even if you're thinking, you know what, I want to sell next spring. Maybe you know that you're not ready to do it right now, but you want to prepare your house or have her come through your home and tell you, yeah, you should probably invest a little bit money in this. Don't waste your time spending money on that, and make sure that you're positioning yourself great for when the time comes that you do expect to sell, maybe in the next 6 months or 10 months or so. Jen Teske, Remax Alliance, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-6000 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-6000.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you've bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call Attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Ah, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
A little more bang, a little less fun. A little less bang, a little more fun. Close your mouth and open up your heart and maybe say it's fine.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So today is primary day again, and Alaska and Wyoming have some decisions to make. Of course, we'll have those results for you tomorrow, but I'm sure by the time you get to us at noon tomorrow, you will probably know how those races turned out. Well, I was talking earlier in the show about Liz Cheney and her representation in Congress and how she has to be, as we discussed, a representative of the people who sent her to Congress. Now, it seems to me that at least my assessment of this has been since she's been pushing through this committee and going through the January 6th drama and trying to make this be front and center for the entire country to consume, I don't feel like she's representing the people in her district, which is also the state of Wyoming, because there's a district in the state of Wyoming. 581,000 people in Wyoming. Did you hear me saying that earlier?
Mm-hmm.
581,000 people. I think 301,000 people in St. Louis. So Wyoming is just like a third bigger than the city of St. Louis. City of St. Louis.
Not the whole market.
No, I Googled city of St. Louis population. Said that. So I think it's important I want to follow up and ask you guys about this. I got this message, and it's a good point from somebody who is familiar with how people, what is the responsibility of somebody who goes to represent a district of constituents in Washington, D.C. And the oath of office for a member of Congress is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So in the context of what Liz Cheney is doing on the January 6th committee and her participation and her leading of that and how her constituents feel about it, I do think it is right to say that if her constituents were actually like pro-insurrection, out there saying January 6th should have been worse and blah, 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 she shouldn't be like, well, my constituents say, and then, carry that on. Her oath is to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. So you could make the argument, for the sake of argument, that she believes that what she's doing is in compliance with that oath. I think it's very, very hard to make the case that the presentation, it's not so much the information that's been put out there, it's the way that Congress has chosen to go about having this conversation. You want to have the conversation? Fine, let's have the conversation. But to put a committee together who's going to essentially try Donald Trump in the influence and responsibility of what took place on January 6th, and to do it in this way, in my opinion, cannot be taken seriously. And if I were a constituent of Liz Cheney and I watched her actively participate in something that I thought was set up purposely to be unfair, I would say that while if maybe she could have the opinions that she has, she could be on there and Jim Jordan could be on there and they could have differences on this committee. They could ask questions. They could bring forward evidence, but they don't want to do that. So I think Liz Cheney certainly has the right, as somebody who is the person who swore that oath, to say that she truly believes that Donald Trump is a threat to the United States or an enemy, a domestic enemy. If she does believe that and believes she can prove that case, she needs to do that under the rigors of a fair setup. And it is not that.
I don't know how to disagree with anything you just said. Well, what she did too is that she followed, quote unquote, her conscience. I can't judge whether or not she was following her conscience or trying to set up a post-political career, because she could have done either one of those, or she could have done both of those. Usually both of them are happening at the same time. But she's going to have to face the voters now and deal with the consequences of following your quote unquote conscience, if that's what she was doing. And we'll see how that turns out. That's the beauty of democracy. If your constituents disagree and say, no, what you did does not represent me, then you're gone. You're gone, and they're going to find somebody who does.
So when the Republicans take the House, they're going to have the opportunity to investigate, subpoena, call into question behaviors and actions that have taken place from people who are going to be on, honestly, probably both sides of the aisle, but definitely the Democrats. If the oath of office of a member of Congress is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, where is that in regards to what's taking place on the southern border?
Mm-hmm.
And is Liz Cheney's actions and attention to try to litigate something that was, in my opinion, already gone through impeachment? It seems to me like it's the same charge or the same accusation towards Donald Trump, that he incited an insurrection. That we've gone through this once. There is no evidence that I've seen that makes me feel like they can pin. I mean, you could say that the president has used rhetoric that is irresponsible, and I would probably in cases agree with that, but I have hours of clips of people on the left saying the same type of baloney sausage about what should be done to the Republicans. This is the way we play games. We are hateful to each other, we are rude to each other, and we want the worst to happen to our enemies, and we say it. It can't only be wrong when Donald Trump does it. And if when the Democrats do it, I mean, not only was Kamala Harris pushing people to be more aggressive in riots and not riots specifically, but that's what they were. She didn't call it that, but protests in the summer of 2020. But she was actively recruiting donations to bail these people out once they got in trouble. I mean, I don't know how that could be any different than what they're accusing Donald Trump of. I'm not saying that what he did, I personally didn't like his speech on that day. It didn't make me comfortable. But there were thousands and thousands of people who were there listening to him who were angry and upset in that moment. And then there was a different group of people that breached the Capitol. I think they should be handled and prosecuted if they committed crimes. But I just don't see how what Donald Trump did is any worse than the long list of people on both sides of the aisle who use that type of rhetoric all the time.
I mean, what you're talking about is why Americans are frustrated. Because it just seems like over and over, not just with this issue, but with so many, there are double standards everywhere you look. And people are being censored online if they want to. They just said, well, let's just have a free speech discussion about it. Now, you can't do that. And that is at the core of why there's so much frustration. And Democrats have got to acknowledge this at some point and say, if we keep marginalizing these people, we keep pushing them out, average people, we keep pushing them out of the conversation, they're going to seem more and more radical to us, and they're probably going to get more and more radical because they feel like they don't have a voice anymore.
Well, at the same time, they look at Republicans, they're like, they're so divisive. And what they define as divisive is they so don't agree with us on everything. And if we could just come together and meet in the middle, which is actually right here where we're standing, and you come over here to me and you agree with everything that I say, then we could just get along.
Yeah, the double standard it's always the double standard. And I think that lately with the FBI raid, people are seeing it on both sides, or from both sides. Edward says constituents' voices are important, but not end all be all. If constituents want to legalize slavery, should you vote for it?
That's a good point.
Of course not. You shouldn't. But in the converse, like I will concede that's a good point, that not in the Liz Cheney specific situation, that just because the group of people want something doesn't mean the person who's there to represent them should participate in it. But also, just because a individual wants to stand for something doesn't mean that that's what the group is going to want to have happen, and it doesn't inherently make the thing that the individual is advocating for the right thing. They did take that oath of office. They are beholden to it and responsible for it. They can certainly interpret every different situation that comes their way with their own personal methodology of this is what I know and this is where I need to take this, make hard decisions that are going to cause them to make some people likely on their own side of the aisle upset with them, but you have to take those moral stands. She has to make a choice. I just don't think that it is like to Edward's point, to look at what she's doing, if her conscience says she should be going ahead and doing this, and she believes that this is the right thing, if other people disagree with it, I think tonight she's just going to have to bear the consequences of her actions.
You know, and I think the other thing that sits
and be proud of herself for sticking by her morals.
I think the thing that sits bad with people is what you mentioned before. We've had a congressional investigation into the January 6th riot. We've had a criminal investigation into it. We had impeachment into it. And so now this new January 6th Select Committee just seems less about I'm following my conscience and doing what's right, and more like I have got a bone to pick with this person and I need to go after him. I mean, there's a reason Nancy Pelosi is a shrewd politician, and there's a reason that the two Republicans...
She's of the best. Historically in this country, the best politicians. Folks, that's not a compliment, so don't be confused.
There's a reason she tapped Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger to be on this committee to be as Republicans, because she already knew where they were going with this. She wouldn't have put wild cards on that committee.
Kevin says, tread lightly with this conversation. The left will be saying Annie supports slavery. What did I say that makes it sound like I'm supporting slavery?
I don't think anything.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing.
for the folks at home, I do not.
Just to be sure.
And historically, that's why I support the Republican Party, because they're the ones who got rid of it. So I'm not a Democrat.
Just real quick, though, but just regarding Liz Cheney in particular, if this was all about her conscience, the easiest rebuttal to her is to say, then why didn't you do a real trial? Why didn't you participate in a trial where there was any pushback?
Yeah, just do it the right way.
You participated in a very, very weak trial on this.
Even say to the public and to Nancy Pelosi, listen, I think there are real issues here that need to be addressed, evidence that needs to be provided to the American people. And I want to bring that out, but it needs to be bulletproof. Yeah. We need this to be as fair as possible without any aura of partisanship, so that when we come to the conclusion that, maybe air quotes, we know to be true, the American people can see what we're trying to say here. You can't do it in a fair way. Shouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Hannah, you got some poll results when we come back?
I do.
All right. If you haven't voted yet, now's the chance to go for the last time and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Will the Trump FBA raid backfire on Democrats? Yes, Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty. Or no, nothing bad happens to the Democrats. Your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat and Hannah's results in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Yesterday, they disbanded the Conservative Caucus, and I wanted to get to my guest, former Senator John Lamping, to talk.
Look, there's always been a Conservative Caucus, quote unquote, in the Senate. It's just never been branded as such.
Right. Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
If you are looking for a luxury car right now, consider Genesis of St. Charles. Let me take that actually a step further. If you are car shopping at all, because you know the way the market is right now, you might be surprised to find that you can afford a luxury car specifically at Genesis of St. Charles because of the way they do business. You will steer clear of paying outrageous prices on luxury vehicles because other dealerships treat the MSRP like it's an imaginary number. Genesis of St. Charles does not. They always follow MSRP, and right now, that's actually pretty rare. So visit them online, genesisofstcharles.com. They're located in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom. They are part of the St. Charles Automotive Campus, just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Online, genesisofstcharles.com. You're going to be very surprised by what you find there, based on not just the quality of the car, but the prices you're going to pay. genesisofstcharles.com.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375 2020, or go online to BrentonVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrentonVision.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
At 420ID.com, we make it easy to get your Missouri medical marijuana card. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in, so why wait? 420ID is the only company that provides you with a real plastic ID card and have served over 19,000 happy Missouri patients. Open late every day until 9 p.m. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420ID.com. Today is the day to sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card at 420ID.com. Use promo code RADIO and save $30 today. That's 420ID.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Regrets collect like old friends, here to relive your darkest moments. I can see no way, I can see no way. And all of the ghouls come out to play. And every demon wants its pound of flesh, but I like to keep some things to myself.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
No matter how you feel about Trump, and Bill Maher can't stand him, he's a larger in life figure, and you just create more folk hero status the more you target him. He understands that. He's like a black hole that swallows all negative energy. And the angrier you get, the better it works. How stupid was this? It's like found money for him. Right? This raid is found money. He doesn't have to do anything. He could just pull back and just let this play out. He already looks like he was the victim here. Meanwhile, of course, they're going to work around the clock trying to find stuff about it. But it's already falling apart, I think. And I think we were seeing it fall apart towards Friday. The tell for me was if you criticize the political nature of this raid, it was tantamount to hate speech.
So if you've been paying any attention, of course, the news has been led by the story of the FBI raiding Trump's home. And we've been talking a lot about this issue here for the last week, because Tuesday last week was when we first found out about this. Like, holy cow, what happened? Hannah's going to give you the YouTube live chat poll from today, the results. And she does this every day. She watches throughout the course of the live chat on the YouTube channel. She pulls and highlights comments that she wants to read. So you got to get in Hannah's good graces, which Brad, I'll ask you how you got in her good graces. And Ryan, I'll ask you what you've been trying to do to get into her good graces.
Brad first.
You put me on the spot. I talk to Hannah and I say nice things and I compliment her and I help her with her job and she helps me with my job. And so we're just a team.
Just a team, right?
We are a team.
I walk by her desk in the morning and I say, great job. What's your name again?
Finger guns.
Yep.
It's always the finger guns.
Yeah.
Ryan
Why the
always-
violence?
Oh, that's a good question. But hey, you heard the noise. It's a cap gun. Hey.
I think Ryan every day scares me at my desk.
Really?
Yes.
I don't try to.
I'm working.
You should start trying to and video it
and film it.
We sneak up behind her with a Jason mask, with a bloody knife.
I mean, as long as it's not
Hannah,
really
it's me.
bloody. Well, I want to tell you before we get to the results here, for people who haven't participated, I think there is like a generational difference between, and it's moving upward in a really positive way, I think, for people who watch things like YouTube on their smart TVs on the app. I watch Fox Nation on an app on my TV. I watch, people watch Hulu and Netflix and everything, but YouTube is like that as well. You can also, of course, watch it on your phone. But I want to encourage folks to consider subscribing to the Annie Frey YouTube channel if you haven't before. And also, there's a way that there's a bell that is on the YouTube channel that you can click and get notifications when we go live. And at noon, when we go live, you'll get that notification. You could just go in the live chat and vote, leave a comment right there right away or whenever is convenient to you. And make sure you tune back in at 2:45 and maybe we'll read your comment. But I do have people who tell me, I just always forget to log in. This is a super easy way to do it. And I will stand by my commitment to you. August 28th, I think was the date.
Oh, you got to stand by that, eh?
Yes. August
All
28th. I had said when we got out of YouTube jail, when our strike went away, and then the next day they accepted my appeal and we got to be back on, that if we get to 4,000 YouTube subscribers, which we're at over 3,500, I will air the never to see air attack ad that Ryan created
months ago.
I've never seen this.
You've never heard it?
No.
Oh, well, you know why? Ryan, what did I say in the email when I got the email with the file?
I think you may have just said never, or it was a word like that anyway.
It was absolutely not.
Absolutely
That's
not.
what I said.
Yeah,
That
all
sounds about
caps.
right.
Yeah, and I wrote a attack ad against Annie, and then produced it, and Annie was just for some reason mortified by the way that I attacked her, and she will air that ad under the compulsion of YouTube if we get to 4,000.
Come on, people.
That's a big ask, though, and I think you know that.
It's huge. But if people want to hear it, it's kind of like, do people like you more or me more?
No, we should not make a referendum on that.
If we get to 4,000, they like you more.
If we get to 4,000, they like me more. If we don't, it wasn't ever about that.
No. Yeah. All right. What's the YouTube poll today?
All right. The YouTube poll question for today is, will the Trump FBI raid backfire on the Democrats? The options are yes, it will backfire because Trump will be stronger than ever. No, Trump will be found guilty, or no, nothing bad ever happens to the Democrats. 60% of the voters said yes, Trump will be stronger than ever.
How many? 60?
60.
Oof.
36% said no, nothing bad happens to the Democrats, and 4% said no, Trump will be found guilty.
I'm happy we have those couple people listening.
We have some comments that came in. Gus from YouTube says, as far as the poll goes, I would like to vote yes and then no. Trump will be stronger, but nothing ever happens to the Democrats.
Yeah, we did say at the beginning of the
with that.
show that it actually all three of these things could be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kathy from YouTube says, yes, Trump is stronger. Democrats' plan backfired. They just PO'd off.
Yeah, PO'd the silent majority of the Republican Party.
The clip you opened with Gutfeld is probably why that's true.
Listen to Bill Maher on this issue.
Trump, he did sell his soul to the devil because he is the luckiest man in the world. His fortune was finally falling. DeSantis was beating him in the polls. You know who hates this more than anybody? DeSantis. DeSantis, like, I had this in the bag, and now I got to run against President Martyr. And this is saving Trump politically.
There you have it.
Yeah, that's saying a similar thing to what we're saying. But Gutfeld was taking a step further and said, even all this negative energy, he referred to it as something like a black hole, and he sucks up negative energy and just turns it into something else. But they call it earned media that he is getting now another probably month and a half,
Just
if
like
not longer.
Choco Tacos.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Am I right?
You're darn right. You bite that bottom lip.
I'm scratching my lip.
Okay. No, you're darn
Choco
right.
Tacos came. Isn't
Sorry for
Klondike
my
makes
language.
them?
Yeah.
didn't they come back and say there's
Yes,
a
they did.
huge surge on?
Oh, did they?
You
Oh,
guessed
yeah,
it.
this part of that.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that there's a story. They're going to take Choco Tacos off the market. Everybody panics, and we even
Mhm.
said, like, while we're talking about it, I said this is just about getting a huge run on Choco Tacos, and then they'll miraculously still be there.
Mhm.
They create a story. They create a headline. Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks. I mean, the national news stories. I was seeing Choco Taco images on the cable news. And then all of a sudden there's a run on Choco Tacos. And this is all because of a story. This isn't because they paid for all of these people to talk about it.
Yep.
And all of a sudden Choco Tacos have never been bigger.
That's exactly what's happening to Trump.
Trump is a Choco Taco.
Yes, he is.
That's probably
Orange Man Choco Taco.
Sounds like something Joe Biden would say.
Listen, look.
Oh
listen,
no.
Trump is a Choco Taco. We know this.
Don't go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
Let it lay. Are there any more
Okay.
comments here before we have to run?
Yes. Chris F on YouTube says, I said no because nothing seems to backfire. They have the media and tech in their pockets. James Beaver from YouTube says, it's backfiring depends on how far they will go to cover themselves. I will never trust them to be honorable. Last comment is from Brandon. He says, regardless of Trump, the sad part is that we are at a point where we have to question every action of the FBI and DOJ. We shouldn't ever get to this point.
Yeah, everything I'm saying is really about the coverage of it. It's not even about the event itself, which angers me to no end. And I think there are a lot of people who it's not just because, it's in the news again. It's that this is a new leaf that's been turned in my soul or something. It's a new leaf for me that I somehow now am attaching myself more to Trump than I had in the past because of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And whatever, I can still contend that whatever Donald Trump ends up deciding to do, even if it's not run for the presidency, he is a legend and he will be a kingmaker, and they can't do anything to take that away from him right now. The only way that it ends up falling apart is if he makes it fall apart.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just don't know. I think in that one I'm gonna say Trump's gonna be stronger than ever. That would be my vote.
Yeah.
Join us every day on the YouTube live chat poll and leave us your comment and your vote. We love covering them. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Next.
What you've heard about probiotics